Let me know when I'm live. All right. Good evening and welcome, everyone. My name is Ox, and with me tonight I have.
Dwarfs! Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm excited for this game today.
All right. So, what we've got happening tonight is going to be a multi state competition. We're calling it the Battle for the Border between Michigan's state champion Overwatch team, which is going to be Melvindale High School, against Ohio's state champion team, Shaker Heights High School. Dwarfs, I am more than excited about this. I had no idea this was even in the works. So to hear about it was big news for me. I think it's great that we're reigniting the Toledo War. I think that history is very important as a subject. So I love that they are showing such passion for it.
Yes, I'm going to be showing as much passion as I can. I'm obviously rooting for our home state, great state of Michigan. We will not be defeated by these Ohioans. I'm just here to see a good game, and I think there's going to be really high stakes, honestly, because you're competing multi-state, you're competing championships, you're the best you've ever played. Even teams that go to the championship, they often come out of the championship realizing about their things about their team. We talked to previous teams; they were like, this is something I want to do." They have power and motivation coming into this game, and I'm ready to see a crushing victory or loss for some of these teams.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it's going to go because I think when we talked about Michigan's tournament, we saw initially a lot of 3-0 games and then it started to tighten up a little bit. But for this, these are two entirely different states. These teams have never played each other. None of the teams from Ohio have played Michigan, at least to my knowledge. So there is no familiarity of like, oh, we played them earlier in the season. This is
Sure.
just kind of a blind go in for it. And I think that's cool because the fact that both of these teams are state champions shows that they have knowledge of the game. They probably have a very diverse set of players in terms of what they're
hmm
able to play or different compositions. So I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth feeling each other out, and it's going to develop into this constant like trying to overdo each other's strategies until somebody finally becomes the victor.
Yeah, in Overwatch, there's an interesting idea of like having even region specific like traits. Now I know that we're all playing on the Chicago server, we're all in the Midwest, and we're all on the east side of the country. But heck, even in like small tournaments, metas can develop. When we saw the tournament of for the for the fall tournament, we saw like Junkrat start coming out as a huge proponent, and like that wasn't relevant in the composite like competitive ladder. It's just because it started getting played, people started seeing it, they saw that they had it, and then you needed to match it. I'm imagining that we're going to see some, kind of compositions like bashing each other here because they're coming from different tournaments that develop their own metas, and they've been probably practicing something similar because it worked best. They won the championship with it.
Yeah, I'm thinking something we're going to see a lot of rolling out, at least to start, is there's probably going to be players going for comfort picks to some degree, kind of being able to show their top tier play style. So if there's the DPS line has hit scan proficiencies, you might see some Widowmaker coming out early on, even on Li Zhang, just to kind of get a feel for what's going to work here and what's not. So there could definitely be some very strange compositions coming through, and I think that's what makes it great. We're not going to have anything predictable here.
So, do you want to tell us a little bit about the format just before we get in?
Yeah, so format's going to be a little bit different here. You're going to see all of the different map styles played one by one. Usually there are due to like state esport council federation whatever you want to call it decisions on what map rotations are played, but in this style the teams actually get to eliminate maps from one style. So the first style we're doing is going to be control, which we're going to get started right now. But one thing that you'll notice is teams actually already picked the map that they want. Each team went back and forth and decided, I don't want to play this map. I don't want to play that map. So the one we're coming to is a mutually agreed upon map.
Yeah.
So we would think these are going to be their top picks for to playing in any scenario.
Yeah, so it's going to be close. And Li Zhang's one of my favorite maps. I don't think we saw enough of it during our last tournament. We can definitely be seeing a lot more. One of my favorite things about the map is, especially if we're on gardens right here, is these knockoff zones. Both teams are trying to go for the objective, as in a capture the hill or king of the hill style. And once they own the objective, they are able to you know, capture it for till 100%, and then once you have it there, you win. Then it goes to the next map where it's like best two out of three. So we're gonna see if someone can hold on to it for that long.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned the boop off zone here, and I think that's going to come into play on this map. At least I would assume so. I think people, both teams, need to respect it because since they don't know what's going to come out from the opposing team, for all you know, they could have the Farah early out, and she's going to try and
Hmm.
get a few people off the environmental, or a Lucio, or a Hammond, whatever you might want to pick for that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the first fight going to the back end of the point here. Um, Coming
Yeah,
in,
I
about to
the,
start. Interesting composition so far.
Five,
yeah,
four,
for the blue side,
three,
that's going to be
two,
Michigan's
one.
Melvindale's, and
Round
the red
one.
side is
Capture the objective.
Shakerville. So you have to stay mindful of these colors while we're getting started in the game. Teleporting the Michigan is teleporting to the onto the objective first. They're going to take point presence pretty quickly here, and they're just kind of poking at them from afar. Ohio's really not sure how to really approach this one. They're kind of looking for an opening, but with that Symmetra, there is such a threat of damage. They're kind of just looking to poke through their fronts. Point has just opened up, and they're going to start trying to capture here. A pick coming out of the side of Ohio, killing the Michigan's teams. Couple of them, they just falling one after right after the other. A quick and decisive fight as soon as he wanted to start the engagement.
Yeah, I think they took a lot of time there to kind of get a read on, okay, what are they playing? What do we have? How can we work with this? So they didn't want to just rush in for the sake of saying, oh, the point is about to open. They took the time, they read their opponents, and then they made the calculated decision. And you could see how effective that was right away.
Hmm. Yeah, they did. They just kind of stood around for a while, and I'm not sure if it's gonna keep on helping them. You can see from this perspective of like a far poke is that you just keep on pumping in damage, getting that ult charge, and you're gonna start out with this fight really with a lot of ult bank.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm seeing here. You can see Melvindale, a lot of their composition wants that up close and personal fight, but Shaker Heights is playing a composition that can be played up close or a bit further away. And so it gives them a bit of an advantage here on the point, but they rotate it off quite quickly, actually. They're going to give a lot of space. They want to respect this Reinhardt swinging away at the front.
Yeah, he's Michigan is diving pretty much into the front line right now, but they are getting punished because they're overextended. Candle getting a pick off on Kid Boss in the back. Sigma ult coming down to the main tanks. Both bubbles are out on the side of Michigan, but they are not able to find any picks coming on the side of Shakersville, and they are just Shaker Heights, and they are just not able to find it. They get eventually a Zenyatta on the side of Ohio, but it's not looking very promising. Oh, right when I say that, they get a pick on the McCree, and it is looking to even up here. Again, Ohio still has this objective. They have not captured once yet. A good boot back on the side of the Brigida, but they still are just stalling this out with no high damage able to kill this ball. They're not going to be able to cap here.
Yeah, Melvindale's been winning this fight, but it's still ticking in favor of Shaker Heights. So as you see them regrouping now on the side of Shaker Heights, it's still in their possession, and they're going to be able to push back in full six. Even picks off on the other side. As I say that, Shaker Heights gets two off of their McCree.
Oh, Brig getting totally boofed off the back by the ball. Beautiful job. Yeah, it is getting really nasty on this objective. If you let a team, like they had that ball, just spinning to win. That's what you call it. You spin to win. You just keep on spinning around that objective, and it's really hard to kill them without any kind of CC. They're just gonna spin around. They're gonna not. They're gonna make it so you can't capture the point, and that's what it was. Just point presence. Oh, Ohio, Shaker Heights understood what to do, how to keep them off the objective, how to keep them, how to stay on the objective, even back out fully, and still have it. Never give it up.
Yeah, what they did when Melvindale first pushed in from the back, they came in really aggressive, and Shaker Heights answered quickly. They backed off. They still kept, interestingly, they kept the wrecking ball on the point, so that way it wouldn't flip. And then they took the fight 5v6 over in the house on the far side of Garden. And as a result, they were able to just keep that stall running for about half the map. It never flipped over, even though Melvindale was starting to win the fight. Coming in on the mid ground here, we're going to see a lot of fighting in this back room. Early pickoffs, though, in favor of Shaker Heights. That's going to be a quick point capture.
Again, another quick fight. There's something about holding up that. I think it's the shield, honestly. Victory Blaze on the side of Ohio is kind of brutal. Like he'll take advantage of an open spot, and I'm noticing that. Like notice how Michigan keeps up their shields before the fight starts, coming down to basically half HP on that shield before it even begins. Oh, huge shatter coming out the side of Ohio. Shaker Heights really showing their coordination with that play. If we had a replay viewer, I'd say we'd look back because what occurred there was a total breakdown of the shield. As soon as it came down, it was an instant Reinhardt shatter,
Yeah.
immediate.
Yeah, the timing on that was immaculate. It's almost if he knew like it was about to break. They were really focusing it down and communicating well. You're gonna see Melvindale rotating to the back here. They don't want to push through this choke because there's gonna be a lot of damage they have to deal with. Big fire strike gets a lot of people on the team of Shaker Heights low, but it just isn't enough to get picks.
Nothing.
And then here comes 3, make that 4. On
Nothing. These fights are being dictated on totally Shakers Heights just their own game. They decide where they're going to happen. They decide what abilities happen first. Melvindale really needs to get a hold of how they want to play this round without splitting off and actually committing to a fight before it happens. But they're going to be running into a couple ults coming up here. They're rotating through the server room onto the Reinhardt Shatter, back onto the Reinhardt. High Noon's going to be triggered and kills 3. Wow! Victory Blaze getting a quadra kill, a penta kill, or a 5k, depending on what games you play. But yes, Victory Blaze really showing how much he's going to be taking advantage of Michigan's team if he's left unchecked like this.
Yeah, I think so far he is really dominating the server at this point. He's just got the rotations down. He knows where to be. He's not getting
a little caught out here. Yeah, they're a little overextended, and they gotta pick off on the enemy. A Reinhardt Shatter being put on the side of Michigan. Get it, Kid Boss. Get it. Finally taking down Victory Blaze. And there's just an all-out brawl on the objective, making sure nobody gets picked off on the side of Michigan. They still haven't got it yet, and we might be ticking up to 99 here. Let's see.
Yeah, that's going to be one fight territory. So they do manage to flip it, but at this point, if they lose any fights whatsoever, it's over.
Done.
It's going to be a 2-0. Yeah. They have to keep this the rest of the time.
They do have a couple ults, but doesn't look like they want to press any of their advantage here. Michigan's kind of holding back.
Yeah, I think they're nervous about this level of play and aggression. We've got the window coming out. This is going to be a high damage boost for that McCree. They know they got to keep their sights away from him. If he sees you, you're probably dead.
Yep, already gone. Just more ultimates coming on the side of Ohio, and there's too much happening on the screen to even understand. But we are waiting around for a pick to happen. Finally, Candle gets another tank. They are totally down the tank line. It is not looking good for Michigan here. Again, there's these. And a Death Blossom coming out to finish it all off. The huge issue is that these fights go so slowly. If Melvindale decides to not do anything, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Shaker Heights has been decisive. When they win a fight, they win it quick. And you hear that phrase when it says team kill, that means that at that particular moment, all 6 heroes on the enemy team are eliminated currently. Like, none of them are alive on the map right now. So when you have that, it means they died back to back very quickly. Whereas with Melvindale, they're getting 2 or 3 here, but then there's people that are lingering on the point, and they're building ult charge, and they're just wasting more time before the point flips. And those little things add up, especially on control, because once it starts going, it is a timer. It does not stop.
The hidden carry, apparently Mayhem Rules on side of Shaker Heights, had 91% kill participation. That is rare even for esports standards.
Yeah, especially from the support. Like, you see it Mercy if she's latched onto a hero who gets an elimination, but with Baptiste, that means he's throwing grenades into the fight. He's taking shots into the fight too. He is highly involved at all times, really
if I'm
playing
gonna be
around
honest,
the team.
I think it's mostly shots. If we looked at if we had a damage chart, Melvindale probably did not a lot of damage. They were gone every fight. They start every fight and not putting out anything. And they're definitely going to need to pick up some of that damage, because when you have a Zenyatta, a McCree, and a Baptiste firing into your front line, that Reinhardt shield isn't going to last. It's not entirely Melvindale's fault that it's going like this. That shield is just so hard to keep up. It only has 1600 HP, and you have to keep that up so your team can move. So things need to happen quicker for them. They need to use the Lucio boost. They need to run into them when they're ready. And it doesn't actually seem Melvindale's actually pretty good at not getting picked off early. I know that's weird to say. They're getting to the objective. They're getting to where they want to be without anybody dying. You now just have to take a fight before they do.
Yeah, because you can see that I think it's a matter of tempo. Shaker Heights seems to be the one that's kind of setting the pace here. And one of the things that you get into is if you can play outside of somebody's comfort zone for pace, it makes them uneasy. It puts them in a position where they can't think as well because that's not the pace they're used to playing at. So for Melvindale, they're trying to take this. Maybe their initial fight is a little bit quicker pace, like they're more willing to jump into it. Like when we saw Shaker Heights back off, that tells you they wanted a little bit slower at the moment. They wanted time to process what they were about to get into, and then when they were ready, they jumped, they pounced immediately. So it's a shifting of who's willing to take the pace for themselves. And I think right now Shaker Heights is deciding like this is what we're going to play at, show up or go back to spawn.
Yeah, yeah. It is. It's also a control point. Sometimes teams can have a heavier advantage on control points due to certain compositions. So we saw again, kind of like a poke, I guess. Um, Kinda. It was a lot of poke. While Melvindale, what were they? What were they even running for DPS? Was it the same? Was
They
it
had
mirrored?
they had the McCree. Their second DPS. I got to be honest with you. I think it
I
might have also been a Reaper.
Yeah, it was a Reaper, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see him. Like I didn't
No, I
process that he was there.
I don't think it necessarily had the impact they were hoping for. There were a couple times where I saw it aggressing Shaker Heights as Reinhardt, but that was when the team fight already looked pretty won. It wasn't something that was setting up the win. It was as a result of the win. But even then, that was on Garden, and that was that fight where they took it, and then they just never captured the point, and then they ended up losing it anyway.
Yeah, so I definitely think we're gonna have to see something, a different strategy coming into them because if you match the composition, you know you can't do it anymore. They're gonna dictate this fight. So this is currently like a poke or brawl hybrid. Um, Change it up, go something that counters that. So that'd be either like, uh, that'd be dive. I think definitely saw a lot of Melvindale's dive potential during the championship. So I'm wondering what the conversations are looking like because they cannot keep at the pace that they're going. What's our next map type?
It looks like we're figuring that out right now. I am not actually quite sure what the next map type is going to be. I do believe that they're currently in discussion. It sounds like it's going to be escort maps. They're doing their eliminations right now. Uh, Sounds like we've got a final pick. It's going to be Rialto for their map choice. Uh,
Yep, Rialto. And the first point, brawl. Second point, poke. Third point, you don't really get the third point that often.
no, it's
Uh,
a tough map. If you capture all three, you did it well. Uh,
yes, definitely. And I'm hoping that a Melvindale can doesn't have is going to take advantage. Are they staying on defense? Do they get to choose?
I think they stay consistent to what they are throughout the match. So I think that they're going to start out on attack. I could
Okay.
be wrong though. Um,
Yeah, because if the reason I want to see Melvindale, I'm excited about Melvindale's defense is because then it's the fight should be in their box. They can poke down to and prevent Shaker Heights movement. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see coming out from them. I'm looking out for their defense. If it's their attack, I want to see something exciting. I want to see, uh, dive characters come out. Maybe Echo or Farah, something that can fly. Genji, um, because you need to you need to shut down victory plays. Sometimes it's better to just ignore them, but for how little you're doing to their front line right now, it's got to go onto entirely onto the hit scan. Totally shut down victory plays.
yeah. So it sounds like Melvindale is going to be on defense first. Let's see. I think everything is set up properly. We're going to find out here real quick just to do a quick check. If not, we're going to get things reset so that way
Totally fine.
Melvindale is on. We just want to make sure we get everybody exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Melvindale's requested defense first. It looks like, yeah, it is going to be the attack push will be from Shaker Heights. Real quick before we get into the actual match here, just a quick shout out. We have a number of sponsors here at MiHSEF. We just want to give them some acknowledgement for their generous donations they've made. First off, we have our diamond sponsors. These are our highest tier sponsors that we have. We have both Addicts and Inacomp, and we also have separate sponsors, Joltech and Dell. Basically, what happens is with these donations, they can be used for any number of things. Contributions can be for paying different people, like production teams, to create streams like this, for providing different streaming equipment or gaming systems, or even licensing rights to various esports that are played by schools under MiHSEF. So by providing this payment, essentially it gives more students more opportunity to be able to play these games together in a competitive setting. So once again, we deeply appreciate those sponsors for being so generous to our schools. All right,
I'm looking at the compositions.
Yeah, I wanted to say, let's talk about what's going on here. We've got an Ashe on the defense. I think I like the pick, but it's going to be dangerous against that Widow. I don't know the full ability of this Widow.
Let's see what this Widow can pull off, because no, gosh, sorry, I'm a little freaked out. She basically knew where Melvindale's Kid Boss was going to be. And it was millimeters from his head, that shot. Looks like they're keeping it. Scarrow is on the Widow. Victory Blaze immediately taking out Kid Boss. They are targeting that backline entirely. I'm not even sure how they were able to get in that way. Oh, there was a flank.
We had a flank, yeah. The Zenyatta and the McCree get a flank. An early 2 pickoffs for the McCree. 3 make that is going to open this point up. There will be the ability to contest it. But they're going to want to get out and regroup quickly, so that way they have the opportunity to do so.
Reinhardt getting stuck on the lamppost here, and kind of getting stuck in the water. But it is looking they are going for a full spawn camp stomp here, pushing all the way past the bridge and keeping them there, picking off a couple people. I don't think we got a recontest here.
Yeah, this is a level of aggression you do not usually see, but at the same time, look at how Melvindale's responding. They have a full 6 going, but they're not pushing in. They are terrified.
Kind of just sitting there.
Yeah.
They're like, okay. Oh, Kid Boss getting a pick on Mayhem Rules on the side of Ohio. And look at it looks like Ohio is doing what they always do. They're kind of just waiting around till they get all the ults that they want. We currently have Victory Blaze with High Noon, Mayhem Rules with the Zenyatta ultimate. And this fight's gonna look a lot different when Candle gets that Earth Shatter. Candle's got their Earth Shatter, and we're gonna see a couple ultimates, an immediate charge coming onto Notbops. And this is the brutal attack here by Blaze.
And that was a beautiful play, because you saw how Candle pinned Melvindale's Reinhardt, and what that did is it opened up the High Noon for Shaker Heights McCree, and he didn't have to worry about shielding because he was currently in the middle of being pinned to a wall. So they were able to save the Shatter for this next fight, as well as the window, so they can break.
And Candle is behind them right now, and they don't see him. Candle's behind them. The Genji finally spotted him out, but he's still deep back in there, and they're finally starting to. Whoa, he got booped in the air, and it was totally denied. They're responding, but they put out the immortality field for Candle on the side of Ohio. They take him down finally. A total misplay on the side of Candle. A huge Earth Shatter. Michigan is finally taking this one back from their own, and they are utilizing the Genji that I wanted to see. Again, I'm so happy.
I'm glad that they acknowledged the overextension there from Shaker Heights. They ended up responding to it very well. You saw that loss of the Shatter, which so far we've seen how impactful Candles have been. So shutting that down, immediately you saw how the play fell apart. They were relying on that play, and now they've got to push back in. They're going to have Sigma Ultimate building up here, as well as Baptiste Window. So we'll see if they can make a play with those two alone.
I think Michigan should be able to survive it. Melvindale has like Lucio Ultimate and a Junkrat Tire. Junkrat Tire needs to come out sooner rather than later, like I said. But they are totally letting them push through. Yep, they're putting down the window right now. That gives you a lot of extra damage, and let's hope they have a response. A huge Junkrat Tire, a colossal Junkrat Tire, amazing.
I think Baptiste was waiting for them to rip-tire it from a further distance, but they weren't expecting it to drop immediately right on their heads. So you did not see that come out, and as a result, it gets 4. That is great play.
That's great. I guess they were just waiting for them to kind of take their positions, and they're getting a little worried about the immortality field. Immortality field wasn't there. It couldn't save them. So the amazing play. And we have a couple more ultimates. We have the Genji Blade, which we always like seeing. It looks like they're picking Ana as a response to the Genji. I wonder how big these sleeps are. Genji totally it's caught out in the behind here. It's getting a little chaotic. Scarrow going down to very low HP. Genji ultimate coming out of the backline of Ohio, and it is pulling apart the backline now. The supports are gone, and it is only this Sigma and Reaper left on the objective. Great job.
Yeah, huge play from the Genji. He pops the blade when he sees it's a one-to-one trade, so he knows this fight could really go any way and get a lot brawlier. And so the McCree on Shaker Heights ends up popping High Noon, and it gets used against him. Genji able to deflect it, so that is ultimates lost on the side of Shaker Heights, and a lot of time lost as well. We started this push into point B with over 5 minutes. We're about to tick underneath too, so this has been a 3-minute hold right here.
This is a great hold for them because the enemy has to kind of force themselves into these really open sight lines, and they have all, Ohio or Michigan has all the room to back up. Sigma's putting down his ultimate onto the front line, immediately responded by the Lucio boop, and it's probably going to see a Zarya ultimate here coming out soon, and they're kind of just waiting for more ultimates. We have also ultimates, both tank ultimates for Michigan, and a huge Reinhardt shatter comes down in the backline, and that is going to be it. That's going to be totally taking them down again. They are dictating the fights now. They're letting them come to them, and they're using the ultimates. They are just chaining these things back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, and that was perfect timing too for that shatter, because if you looked over at Melvindale's team, a lot of their heroes under half HP. So if that fight had gone on any longer, we would be talking about a very different narrative right now. But the shatter comes out at a perfect time, gets 3 on the ground. They follow up excellently, and here we are now. We're sitting at about a minute left to go, maybe 1 or 2
minute,
pushes.
and they got a Junkrat tire. This should be pretty easy to clear. He just needs to be able to get it off. They are pretty much pushing into them right now. Zarya ultimate putting them down, confirming location of that Reinhardt, but that's all they got. That was some 2 pretty big ultimates for what amounts to a couple of players, but it is 47 or 49, seconds on the clock. I think they're going to be pretty set for the rest of the map.
Yeah, I think they wanted to bait out the Reinhardt shatter. They grabbed him alone, which is a lot of ultimate to commit to one person, but they got an individual pick as well as the Reinhardt, and from there, Shaker Heights couldn't do anything else. And now they're going to have the Nano and the Reaper Blossom. That's probably going to be the combination here, which I don't know if they have any response on the side of Melvindale. The healing from the Moira Coalescence will not sustain. They're going to have to get something to take out that
taking a high ground fight up here on the bridge here. This catwalk is a weird place to take a fight. It definitely lends you to be able to whoa, a huge flank coming out of the side of the Genji is going to be taking down Victor's Legend and Legendary, but then Scarrow is responding with his own Nano Blossom, totally taking them out. And that was a kind of sudden fight there. We saw some early picks, but then they kind of overextended it into that high damage that we were talking about. If you run into a Reinhardt and you run into a Reaper, your team's going to get destroyed if you're in front of them.
Yeah, taking another fight here. It was interesting they took a small fight room with a Reaper that had an ultimate, but that's neither here nor there. 4 down on the ante too. That's going to be point B is captured.
That's it.
That's beautiful play right there.
They knew how to adapt. I'll hand it to them. Ohio knew what they needed to respond with, and they came back. It looks like Higgs might be getting caught out here. This is really not a good time to be getting caught out. That is a 12-second respawn. I can't remember.
Yeah, that could be one less hold that they get here, and that could cost them, because you want to get them ideally not capturing this 3rd point, but if they do, at least do it in overtime. But if they get 1 less fight out of it, there could even be a few seconds on the clock depending on how this next one goes. Let's see what happens.
Yes, the only ultimate we have is Sigma ultimates coming out right now. It's coming into the front line, getting up the Lucio. A bunch of people responded with the Lucio ultimate. Reinhardt goes down again. They took it straight up in the front here. Didn't really have a lot of movement. Junkrat Tire coming into the back line, only getting Ana on the side of Ohio, but they are still trying to hold on to this point. Melvindale, that was tragic. He didn't have enough in the clip. And they are getting pushed off the objective, still kind of stalling it out, but it is going to be cleared off.
Yeah, we're going to see if somebody can get a touch here. They've got the Junkrat and the Reinhardt waiting to push out. They want to group up so they can have an actual shot here, but it's going to be close.
And we are going to see a Reinhardt shatter coming out the side. Oh my gosh, Kid Boss totally canceling it out. A Death Blossom coming out onto the backline, but that is clearing it up pretty hard. No one is checking this Reaper at all. He's able to just continue on and do whatever he wants.
And the problem is the grab came out and got a few, but the Nano saves the Reinhardt and it grabbed them onto the objective. So they were still able to push it in as a result, with notably 6.7 seconds. So not in an overtime push. They do have time in the bank.
Yeah, it would have been pretty nice to see them do that, but after that one bad fight, kind of spiraled. Higgs got caught out on second objective, and they had to take a really weird fight inside of the doorways here of Rialto. And taking a fight there when they have a big CC ultimate like Sigma, it's kind of hard. That brings you straight up in the air and straight back down. You take a lot of damage, and they really didn't want to try to re-engage, but maybe that's what they need. They need to start taking these fights while the enemy team is taking them, because they can't just kind of sit there and take it. They need to be able to respond here. Kid Boss looks like also trying to get some revenge here. Getting on this Widow. Oh no. Are we seeing what are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Is it the defense Torbjorn? Because that's what I'm seeing. Oh, I see. I also see some double shield action going on right now. The Orisa
Oh
Sigma
no.
double shield. Oh
Uh,
boy.
for those of you who don't know, Double Shield is a composition that is unpopular, um, and it's definitely a strategy you can use, but it's going to be really hard to break that defense. It is a nut to crack. Looking for an opening pick here on the side of Kid Boss. Getting a pick on Victory Blaze, they don't have a res for that. That's actually massive. That's who they need to kill. Okay, Kid Boss kind of standing still for the Zenyatta.
But the Widow did her job. That's the thing. She did the job. As long as no more eliminations come out for their team, and if they can get another pick, they might have a shot to really push this a good distance. But we got to see what they do next. They've got to initiate a little harder. Reinhardt's playing a bit preserved against a slow-moving Orisa.
Yeah, the Kid Boss coming back on the Reaper instead of the Widow. Notbops again getting picked off first. You're kind of holding up your shield, and then they're killing you after your shield's down. It's clockwork. They are kind of stepping out and like taking a lot of poke damage. We can see that the Sigma is probably gonna have his ultimate first, which I'm gonna be honest, doesn't happen usually. Sigma's usually last to get his ultimate, so they are taking a lot of poke damage coming into these fights, especially from the Sigma. They're breaking down the Orisa shield, walking up to the front here. They are definitely putting a lot more energy into breaking these shields, trying to even this out. But now they're initializing with the Orisa's gone, Candle is out of the fight, and this Coalescence is burning down the backline. Victory Blaze falling again. They finish off Legendary on the point, and that turret is finally falling. They kind of beat them at their own game, if I'm going to be honest. The shield war was won.
Now, they've still got 4 up here. I'm curious to see if they're going to push it. It doesn't look like, as I say that, Sigma gets a quick touch, but he's going to get taken out. Yeah, that's going to be point A.
I don't think they had a lot of options, but I think it was fine with what they did. Heck, they got a kill on Not Alamo. Victory Blaze picked off the Lucio, so that's actually can kind of screw up some things. Yeah, Candle, they're kind of staggering themselves. Let's see if Kid Boss can make more out of it. Legendary and Victoria Blaze totally falling down to the random shots that Kid Boss is putting into them. They have 6 ultimates. What is going on?
They've got the big 6. And one thing I want you to notice is when we see Reinhardt going down first, it's not a matter of he's putting a shield down at the wrong time. Consistently, Victory Blaze is throwing that stun grenade right above the shield and making it forced to go down against his will. So those are huge throws. Big Sigma ult coming out, picks up 4. The beat response.
Another Lucio. The high noon, but it doesn't actually get anything. Not Bob's getting killed again. Juggernaut Tire coming onto this, coming into the backline, getting destroyed by Victory Blaze. What a great shot. Candle a little caught out here, but that doesn't look like they have a lot of aggression here. They don't have that Reinhardt to put them up in the front, so they're trying to find a lot of damage. They're trying to find whatever they can, but ultimates are going to have to start coming out on some side. They're being so subdued. Kid Boss taking advantage of that subdued nature and finding a couple picks, a scrappy but uneven fight here. It is Zarya, Lucio, and Moira on the objective, fighting the force that is the red team out of Ohio. And the Zenyatta ultimate protecting Immortality Field. They want to hold on to this objective, put every single ability we can on this card, clear them out. Zarya ultimate coming out, but not a lot of things to respond. Notaman taking down 2 people with the mine. This is one of the most scrappiest fight I've ever seen. Will they hold on? No, they have no more tanks. They can't fight anymore.
God, that was a long fight. And here's the thing. With all of that going on, Shaker Heights still holds on to 3 ultimates. 2 of the ultimates that came out of Melvindale immediately got jumped upon. When Zarya dropped Graviton, she dies. And when Moira pops Coalescence, she gets hit by Sigma's Accretion. So they lose 2 ultimates right there.
Yeah, and even during this conversation, it was a classic window and just shoot them play. Zarya, Reinhardt, while they are strong, does not have as much shield as Sigma Orisa. And they got picked off pretty quickly there. That was just kind of a dry fight. Let's see what we can get out of them. We got the Immortality Field, and now we can run into them.
All right, we're building up to a Junkrat tire. He might be able to, if he can hit a grenade or two, he might be able to get a rip off, at least burn out the immortality field, and then they can push in on something.
Yeah, they're pushing down to the Coalescence right now. Sigma Ultimate coming out of the backline again. No Lucio Ultimate coming out, but a little too late, honestly. Picking off two. Another sad fight. The reason it's sad is because they kind of got held up where they didn't want to get held up. This is what we saw on the control map. When they have the poke advantage, they're taking advantage of the poke advantage.
One thing to note, though, I think Shaker Heights might have overcommitted the ultimates on that. They already
Oh
had two
gosh.
down after the Sigma, and they got the High Noon, and then they threw the Torby ultimate, too, so they lost that for this next push, and we've got a Shatter and a Rip Tire coming on for Melvindale. They could make a lot happen with this.
Yes, and they are definitely looking to try to make a lot happen. Notaman getting is flanking right now, but is not able to find a whole ton. They're pushing totally forward, and Reinhardt used his ultimate at one point to probably take down some shields, getting a pick on Candle and Legendary. That was a pretty quick fight on their side. They kind of just used their ultimates. That's the overcommitment you were talking about. They didn't have any response. Higgs falling from the Zenyatta, and they are kind of giving up the objective because there is a like a annoying little dwarf in the back. They had to kind of give up. You know, we need to take care of whatever's in our backline. They took care of that Torbjorn. Jeez. All right, nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
When they ended up pushing there, they actually all stepped off the cart, and then Torbjorn came in to get the contest. I think it's actually good in that scenario, which sounds odd to say that they all stepped off the point, because I think Torbjorn was looking to get a quick pick and buy his team some advantage, which he doesn't get that because nobody's on the cart, which you would expect somebody to be normally, at least trying to push the advantage a little bit.
They're holding on to the same ultimates for this fight. It is the ball is in their court. Orisa ultimate coming on the side of Ohio. They're going to be pumping in damage as much as they can. The Zarya ultimate coming down straight into the team, but they respond with the Zenyatta ultimate and an immortality field. Immortality falls. Zarya falls. Kid Boss falls. It is not looking good for Michigan. Junkrat ultimate trying to salvage this fight just a little bit, but they are running into not a lot of results. It is just an Orisa. And they still have the advantage in this case. They're able to hold on. A little bit of an overcommitment, but it's kind of hard to tell what's happening when you're a Junkrat.
Yeah, I think honestly it was good patience on the side of Melvindale for Notaman for his Riptire, because you saw when the grab came out from Nisu, they committed Zenyatta ultimate, they committed Bap's immortality. They waited for those things to go down before throwing the Riptire because they knew now nothing can stand in the way of it. And he did get a pick, but by then there was too much damage done against Melvindale.
Window coming out again, going to be poking them and splitting them up. That lasts for like 10 seconds. So you are just going to get poked all the way down and just pushed out of whatever hole you're hiding in. And that is what happened. But Candle overextends again and gets picked off by Kid Boss, who's on a turret destruction rampage right now. And he is just leading this charge up against... oh my gosh, a Shatter hitting 3 targets in the back, totally knocking them out. That is a strike coming onto the side of Michigan. Beautiful to see that, not Bops. What a great Rhine Shatter that was. And they look like they are pushing this all the way to the end.
And if you look at that, they've got more time in the bank.
Absolutely.
That was impressive. I think it's important to see there the way that they played that. They were so patient about which ultimates they wanted to use, and they started doing what we haven't been seeing them do before. They're reading. They've now been able to predict when these different abilities are going to come out from Shaker Heights. They predicted out the immortality field. They predict out the Zenyatta ultimate. That's why it's so important to be tracking what the team has, because then you know how can we abuse this as much as possible. And there you go. It ended up working out for them. It looked like they were getting pretty hard hit in the initial push when they were on defense, but now you can see the result. They have 30 seconds more time in the clock.
This is the battle of the picks. And I think they're realizing a Victory Blaze is now on the Echo. Which maybe he's not gonna pick it, he's on attack. But they realize if we can pick out Victory Blaze, take him out, and then the enemy teams, like if we can take down Not Bops or do a flank, we can destroy whatever they've got planned. For at least for this phase right here. Everything else is classic team fights. We got ultimates and we're gonna use them at specific times.
Here's what I'm wondering though. They've got Scarrow playing the McCree. I was wondering who's going to pressure down the Reinhardt shield, but picking the Echo, who do you think the target's going to be? Because they have a lot of high mobility characters and a good hit scan to counter Echo. Who is Echo going to target?
It's not the pick for this one. It's got to be either the shield, but Victory Blaze is on a right side flank here, and The Victory Blaze spots out the little trap there, and he goes back to the team. It's not looking good. He's playing a little more defensively. So how is Michigan going to hold this? They're giving up a lot of space up against this high damage. Even the Sigma's putting in damage on this team. So we're going to be able to see a lot of damage. They're going to need to be able to take this fight kind of quickly. They get him trapped in a trap here. Break that immortality field, and you've got an easy team fight. Legendary getting a pick on Higgs. Victory Blaze getting a pick on Notaman. Kid Boss getting a pick on Victory Blaze. It is swapped and swapped and swapped. It is even fight, and we are coming down to the last 16 seconds. And all of the players still stand on the side of they are pushing onto the objective. Ohio does not want to see this one go away. And they are just getting punished for that. They overextended on that last moment. Notbop's getting a huge pick, a Earth Shatter, just taking down this fight. It's not over just yet because there is still a bunch of people on the objective. It's kind of stalling it out here. It is overtime. If they step off, they lose. Notbop's having to deal with this Lucio in the back, and then the Ohio seems to be recoming back here. Sigma ultimate dropping down onto Notbops up in the front line, definitely taking a lot of damage. Farah, the Victory Blaze is probably going to be coming down with his ultimate pretty soon here. Swatching onto the Reinhardt. She is now Reinhardt, able to charge up that ultimate a lot more quickly. Let's see if she can to change this fight. Scaro getting a pick on Notbops here. Victory Blaze is Scaro getting 2 kills with the high noon. Amazing. Totally changing the results of this fight because of how long that was able to go on for.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it was going the way of Melvindale, but I think that's why we saw the Echo pick. They were banking that their player could build ultimate enough, or quickly enough in that minute time, and so they had 3 shields on the point, and they were just able to sustain so much longer. Now, we are in overtime at this point, so they have to have somebody touching this point for the rest of the fights. Nobody can step off, or it's an immediate end to their push.
I mean, they have to do...
Looking at their ultimates, they're gonna have the Reinhardt Shatter here. It's gotta be big because you've got the Riptire, and that's gonna be dangerous against Shaker Heights.
Bob coming out of the side of Michigan, totally whiffed the Reinhardt Shatter tragically. Drunkrat Tire finally coming in. The Immortality Field kind of saving a lot of people. And they are just kind of looking for whatever they can. That is both tanks falling. It is not looking good. Scaro getting a pick on Notaman, but they are picking off everyone that is left on the objective. Kind of ignoring the Lucio, if I'm going to be honest. They can't really, they're struggling with looking up and around them, but they see 9, baby.
Yeah, that was, they end up stopping a little bit past point A, which is good. You don't want them to get really any more than that, but it's a lot more than we expected. It was just that final fight at the end. They weren't quite able to focus down on the targets that were stalling the cart, and it ended up being that the respawns just worked in the favor of the attackers, so they were just able to roll in, and with that Echo ult too, it really just solidified that they were going to get point A.
Yeah, there is a bit of respawn advantage here going, a lot of respawn. Like, even though they lose a fight, let's say, you know, if someone's on defense and they lose a fight, or win a fight on defense, but one of their people die, that's actually kind of a loss because you have to wait for that person to get back. We are seeing Lucio, but it's not always like, I mean, I guess they're coming back a little earlier now that I think about it. So they're going to be banking on this Lucio for giving them that extra mobility. It makes everyone around him go a little bit faster, and it's kind of useful when you get to these closer fights. We're again seeing the Widow, but I think they're used to it at this point. They might not be surprised to see it.
Yeah, I think one thing to note that's really interesting is we talked about the Echo and how it didn't seem like the play, and short term it wasn't, but long term it was, and now look what they're fielding. They've got this Mei. They're going to try and get it to be every inch. You've got to fight for it. They're trying to end this right here.
Not finding any picks just yet on the Widowmaker, but she is going to continue forward. They're looking to hold this point just to the back of it, bring the fight to us, and because we'll take you down. But they probably don't know about this Mei yet. They're looking to win this corner fight, but I'm looking out for this wall that's about to come out onto the Reinhardt. Yep, Reinhardt's coming down, but the wall gets totally picked off by the cart here, totally taking down that wall, making it pretty useless. But they're still being held up. They didn't get any picks out of that fight. They're taking the space that they want, so they're letting their cooldowns just come up here so they can take another fight.
Yeah, Melvindale needs to push in right now because we saw the Immortality drop. There goes a great pick onto the McCree. That's what you want to play off of. You saw the Immortality come out. You know that they don't have to sustain, and now they realize that they're committing. They're like, yes, this is the push. They cannot sustain this, and they're going to try and push up really aggressive here with the Reinhardt and the Reaper, trying to make sure that they can guarantee a point A hold.
Yeah, I'd honestly, I'd put more people on this cart, guys. Like, it's just 3 on the cart. We can get through this, but this is going to be a really aggressive place to hold. I'm not going to. I'm going to go to Notbot's perspective here because he is going to be totally targeting these guys down. It's going to be difficult for them to make this push.
Oh, they were too late on the commit.
Oh my gosh, Victory Blaze, not Alma getting another pick. They aren't getting extra time because of that. Our Rhine Shatter, it looks like they could be trying to restabilize, but there is a Reaper in their backline totally wrecking shop back here. That the Zarya doesn't even know about it. Michigan, pay attention to your backline. What is happening? Killing Higgs, killing Nice, finally taking down Scarrow. Notaman killing Candle. What is going on this fight? This is overtime chaos if I've ever seen it. They get it back because they got the Lucio, baby. We talked about it before. It brought them back quick. They didn't need to even worry about it. We said, who cares if we die? We have a Lucio. We're coming back.
All right, looks like they're building up to a lot of ultimates on Melvindale too. They just need to survive this, the cart, and stay alive, and they might be able to win it here. A little bit late on the beat, but they have a lot of people up. Watch out for this high noon. It doesn't get anybody. Reaper's coming in over the top with a huge Death Blossom onto the Graviton, and it looks
Beautiful.
like they're going to be able to get it as long as they can get these few last players out.
Ohio's signature move, spin to win. It's gonna work! They get 2 boops! On the tank line, there are currently no tanks for Melvindale on the objective, which is pretty deadly. They get it. We're 1-1.
That was way scarier than it needed to be. Back and forth, this match was like, who is going to take it? And that's what I love. It fight every moment. Just when you think you know what's going to happen, it flips on you again. Right there at the end, you saw those 2 environmental kills, and I thought, you got to be kidding me.
No.
There's no way. It was so close.
Yeah, let's say they got the 2 environmentals and they had a Lucio. If Ohio had a Lucio, they'd be screwed because they'd be coming back just then and they'd be like, guys, we have this. They have no tanks. We have an easy win here. Not Bops with 18 Earth Shatter kills. That is amazing. And yeah, again, the Sigma had 28k damage done, enough to earn a card for it. So that means that he was doing a lot of damage. I'm not sure if the Sigma's just good on the side of Ohio or Melvindale's letting him get poke damage in, but he's getting value.
It's probably a combination of the two. The nice thing about Sigma is he's not necessarily going to get a ton of damage on one person, but his damage is high when it's spread out amongst people. When you've got teams playing close together, when they've got the Zarya, Reinhardt, and the Brig, they want to play these close-up fights. So you know they're going to be clustered. If you can get past that shield, you're going to build ult really quickly. And that's why we saw the Sigma build up first on the server in that secondary push, which you were saying, like, that does not happen. And you are absolutely right. That just shows how much he's getting of just that little bit of tick damage on everybody over time, and it has a big impact.
Yeah, I think it's because it's Melvindale's. They're getting a little better with it, but they're kind of just like standing around for these fights. Can we talk about what was going down that push on the first cap, like at that objective? What happened?
I don't. So the problem is Melvindale actually got the capture. They put 3 on the point and they got it captured sooner than what Shaker Heights expected. So they still had about 12 seconds in the bank and they capture point A. And then Shaker Heights goes, oh my God, let's commit right now. And they start throwing ultimates and it almost went in their favor. Like, it was getting scary. Without the Lucio, I think it might have ended right there, even though they won the first fight and captured that point.
Scarrow was the Reaper for that one. I was talking about how he was in their back line. I think he killed like a total of 3 people while he was there, maybe ulted, I don't know. It was scary and they were not looking at him. Literally all you have to do to take out a Reaper is have your Zarya throw like 2 bombs at him and he wraiths out. He's like a tiny little fly. You just kind of like swat at it a little bit and it goes away. But if you don't let if you don't swat at the fly, it'll murder you. Those 2 shotguns hurt, especially if you're a tank. So please look out for that.
Yeah, that was definitely a misstep, I think, for Melvindale not respecting the Reaper right there. It could be they just weren't aware of it in that final moment right there when they get the capture. They're probably feeling this like, oh my gosh, it's in our favor. We might be able to do this. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, they're pushing in. And it's probably like a little bit of panic mode. But you can see they end up managing to save it. Lucio comes in once again, saves the day. He gets that touch, boops the Reaper off. You've got the Reinhardt getting the effectiveness going on. And Wow,
I think you
that
can
this
I
is
think you can see how nervous they're getting for these fights, you know? Like, when we saw the first one, it was it was checkers and chess. We saw counter move and move, you know? Now we're seeing, "Oh my god, guys, it's overtime. We gotta go now." Like, let's forget all of the strategy we laid out and the things that we're trying to counter for these compositions.
yeah, I
Because
think
like
in practice, it's probably something that they've rehearsed trying to do and like making call outs for when to initiate and when not to. But when you're watching this, you get it. I would pay money to hear the comms right now, but it's probably like, don't push right now, don't push right now, don't push right, and they're like calling out which abilities have been used, and then all of a sudden you just hear somebody start chanting, go, 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 go. And then you've got like six people saying, let's rush in, let's go. And they just go crazy. Like they're it's all chaos, but I'm loving what we're seeing as a result of it. The fact that we've got the 1-1 tells us it's gonna be close. I want to see what happens next. I'm very excited about
So
this.
while we swap the sides and the map, I'm gonna remind us here about our sponsors. For Diamond tier, we have Addicts in It Comp. For Silver tier, we have Joltech and Dell. Thank you for supporting the stream. Thank you for supporting MiHSEF. We definitely love all the support you're getting us, and I hope that all of you, support them as much as we do. And yeah, we're looking for the we are tied up right now. How many more maps do we have to go through just yet?
So
Because
we're gonna have to go to it's first to three bases. I'm gonna try and get this here. Switch to where we've got Shaker Heights is going to be on defense. Our map is going to be Hollywood. So I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I need to change Shaker Heights over to
yep,
blue.
swap them. So
Yeah,
yeah, when we get back into this, guys, I know you've been thinking in your head like, oh, Ohio bad, bad evil red people. Swap that. Good guys are now Michigan are now red. So
yeah,
uh,
we're gonna get the swaps coming in here real
oh, you
quick.
can there's a swap all button. Use that.
Oh, is there? If you would
Yes.
love to direct me to it, I
Go.
would.
Top right. You hit swap, and then it opens up a menu for swap all.
Top right swap. I'm just gonna stick to what I'm
Go ahead.
doing because
Go ahead.
so far, like I believe you. I trust the system.
Don't worry about it.
I'm
You're
just
fine.
terrible at this.
This is gonna take a little bit of time. So far, I'm gonna talk about the some of the star players that have been seen coming up. I keep on talking about not bops on the Reinhardt. A lot of what he's doing is he's trying not to die, which is really frustrating. I'll cut to his perspective, and it'll just be him on half HP, and something's trying to kill his healers. And his healers are a room away. It is frustrating to be him right now. He needs to make sure his shield is up for these fights. He needs to make sure that he's not dying coming into them. And I can't imagine the stress he's on. So if we're talking about like MVP in terms of like nerves, he's probably got it. I don't know the kid personally, but it's definitely a lot of pressure. Same thing with I'm gonna say the Baptiste on Ohio's side. Shaker Heights, I can tell that they've put a lot of energy into making sure that Baptiste works. And Immortality's fields have to be perfect. The heals have to be there, and plus he's doing damage on the side. That is a nice slice of pie. And I think that they've put a good amount of energy into that kind of composition. And Baptiste is known to very much excel on Hollywood. There's these high ground positions where he can go untouched and unmarked. If you have a main healer pumping in 200 plus healing per second while he's up there, plus immortality fields, plus amp matrices, that is a force to be reckoned with. So I would not be surprised if Shaker Heights has the advantage. Can someone remind me if Melvin? No, it's 1-1. So we're first or three. This isn't the game here, man. We still got a lot after this. So I hope you're sticking around, everyone.
Yeah, one thing to consider too is since these teams are getting to pick, defense first if they lost or if they want to attack, getting to when it comes down to eliminating maps, getting to have the final say on which map they're going to go to. We could see even a back and forth where it's like map pick leads to victory. Here so far it's been close, so it's not guaranteed that you're going to get it, but there might be just that little tinge of advantage. So it could be that it comes down to map 5 and one of these teams is going to have to just push it over the line the win. It's gonna be close. I'm
Yeah,
so
because map
excited.
five we're doing control, correct?
I believe it does go back to control for map 5, so
And
that would
we
mean
we know who won control. Let's hope they can get it back. I listen. I don't think we were seeing Melvindale at its full capacity on that control map. Let's just say that.
yeah,
Um,
I think control's a weird one to begin with, and especially when you're doing that
so
feeling each
misleading.
other out.
Yeah.
I think Shaker Heights might have came with the advantage in terms of like the individual play and getting the feel out, and
Hmm.
maybe they were doing things that Melvindale wasn't expecting. But now they've had some time to work together. We can see how these teams are reacting to each other's play styles. They're understanding the game. It shows that they realize like, here's what I need to do to respond to what they're throwing at me. And so I think if we saw control again, I can't guarantee it would look quite so one sided as it did last time.
Yeah, it is definitely odd. Honestly, this is a weird Overwatch opinion. I think they should bring back best of five for control. I know that's annoying
Mm.
for competitive, but honestly, for like how weird control gets, I think we need to bring back the five maps. In olden days, it would be like 2-2, and then the last one. It's honestly it's crushing when you lose, but I think for fairness, you want to feel out both teams, see a lot of strategies. That's what you should be doing. Well, hopefully
Yeah,
Jeff
it's
Kaplan is
definitely
listening.
difficult to come back from a loss. Yeah, it's definitely hard to come back from a loss on the first control point because at that point you have to win the next two in a row, and it is one of those things where whoever gets first capture is kind of favored from then on unless it flops over. It is a mess when it comes to
Can we
control, so I think three is not enough.
can we talk about what we're seeing right now on the side of Ohio? Shaker Heights here.
The Bastion double shield play. We've got a bunker composition going on.
Yeah, bunker in 2020. Oh no.
I was curious if we would see it. I was thinking about it before the match. I was like, am I going to see the bunker composition today? And
Because
here
they
we go.
did the double shield. Look, they teleport to the other side so they get a much better angle. They just realized that, oh my gosh, they still have the Symmetra too. They kind of have a good composition to deal with it. They just have to play it right. That teleport is way far back. They are able to totally take that position away and be able to position wherever they want to be. Michigan is kind of realizing their advantage a little bit here. They're rotating around this objective.
Yeah, Bastion doesn't have a sightline anymore, so now you can see the teleporter comes down. They're trying to play it a little more safely, waiting for them to push it on this point because they know they've got all the time in the world. It's Melvindale that has to touch, and they have to get the point. So they're going to wait this out for a while, maybe go for a bit of a play, but you can see they're just waiting.
Yeah, it looks like Michigan is prepping to get on the point, but they're pushing on right now. The cap percentage starts. They're trying to go under into the cafe. They teleport away off of the objective though, so it's kind of like a reverse sweep here. They're now defending. Michigan is now defending the objective while Ohio is attacking, and they put out a Moira ultimate, but then they charge in, but that's not enough damage. They're running into that immortality field and not able to kill a lot. Symmetra ultimate is even put in here. They're just trying to clear them off. But hey, look at that cap.
Yeah, they got almost 2 ticks out of it. And here's the thing to think about, too. You're playing against double shield, Bastion, bunker, and you made them rotate that much on defense. You forced them into the attacker's position. You got almost 2 ticks out of it. And yeah, you end up losing the fight, but you're going up against a Bastion who's damage boosted with all the shielding in the world. That's a pretty good fight, all things considered.
Yeah, they are. Michigan is rotating the pants off these guys, and I think they know exactly what they're going to do right now. But we're going to have some ultimates. Lucia ultimate coming on the side of Michigan, as well as the Hanzo ultimate that'll be able to probably bust the bunker here. The Hanzo ultimate takes out the top line hold, but they were already on the second point. Notaman getting picked off early, and they're going to need that damage for this fight. Also, Ohio is kind of stockpiling ultimates here. We have basically 5 ultimates online for them, and Michigan ain't got a ton.
Yeah, I think one of the problems too is they picked the Hanzo not only for some shield break, but also to combo with the grab. But look, we are already almost 3 minutes in, and Nisu is only 50% to a graviton. They might get it during this push.
It's hard to get it on Zarya on this point. Those you only get ult charge if you hit an enemy, and they're standing between 2,000 health of shielding that is readjustable and is hard to deal with. Baptiste ultimate coming out on the side of my gosh, Victory Blaze totally taking advantage of the he's beaming the same spot. Just put the pull there. I'll shoot it. Just give it to me. That was tragic. I don't think Michigan was expecting the pull here. Man, did they cheese him?
Yeah, at this point, we've got 4 ultimates on the side of Michigan, but the problem is a lot of these are needing sightline and ground level. Right
Oh,
there, we get the double pick. That triple
woohoo!
is what you needed. I was worried for a minute, but once again, Notaman on the Junkrat makes a big play for his team. Shatter comes out. They get the Bastion. It's going to be a cap, but they came close to OT here. Like, that could
Yeah.
have been dangerous quick.
They got kind of frustrated with them. They were like, "All right, guys, you gotta get the heck off the point." And I hope they switch, cause oh my God, is this annoying? They
Yeah,
aren't.
they
They
aren't. They're
ain't.
committing. Oh, this is something to have to push into. You can feel the frustration. I know, having played against this. This is the tilt factor. This is the thing that they're trying to get into the mental of Melvindale. They know it's a 1-1 right now. They want to see
Yeah.
if they can push it to a 2-1 with a stronger mental.
Nice, Kid Boss. Kid Boss taking down Legendary and the Mercy. That's a massive pick. They're running that Mercy to give that Bastion just that extra amount of damage boost. Arista getting kind of caught out. A little bit of a miscommunication here. She didn't realize people were up there. And Bastion as well. Bastion's up here. Guys, they're up here. You can't come up.
Yeah,
Get out of my room. I'm playing Minecraft.
they drop off the high ground as soon as the Mercy gets picked, but then Orisa commits, and so Bastion feels like he needs to come in as well. That's a big pick, though, from the Sigma. It could play, depending on how these next few seconds go in the fight. I think Shaker Heights knows they have an advantage. Big ultimate onto the Bastion. He's got to back out. Ends up taking Orisa, though, and now Melvindale's
Bastion
coming
up
in.
Victory Blaze totally in the back here. Not a lot of people see him though. They just noticed him, but oh man, that could have. Let me tell you, that could have gone disastrously if they let that Bastion go unchecked.
Yeah, that was a big play from Melvindale there. They knew they were at advantage. They saw the Bastion. Hanzo gets into a great position to force the Bastion out, and then as soon as he does that, they jump and they see like that Bastion's not turreted. We can win this, and then you just see the pick start going in favor of Melvindale. That's a huge play by the Hanzo right there.
I'm not sure if you guys saw that. Oh no, Nice getting kind of caught out here. Going down to 15 HP, getting totally falling here. A little bit of call out. The Symmetra ultimate there secured a pretty easy fight here. Junkrat Tire coming out on the side of Michigan, but it only gets the immortality field. It looks like they're just going to have to be happy with that because they are committing more and more. Ohio is just putting everything they can into this fight. Scarrow falling, but it is probably not going to be enough. They have the spawn advantage. This is one of the closest spawns in the game, so I would not be worried for these guys.
Yeah, we see here a switch onto the Reaper from Scarrow. They've got the Sigma ult, and we know that he's good with these, but we're coming up onto 5 ultimates for Melvindale. I think they're going to have to, if they're keeping track of this at all, they're going to have to respect a little bit and play very strategically. They can't just bash into it and hope for the best.
Yes, the Zarya ultimate getting down a good chunk of them, but they didn't really have. Oh, the Kid Boss bringing in a Dragon Strike, totally taking down the entire team here. That is almost a total team
That
kill
is
on his
what we
side.
call the Dragon Ball right there. You throw the grab and then you hit them with the Dragon Strike. Dragon Ball right on the point. Beautifully played.
Oh, a whiffed ult on the side of Ohio goes on top of the camper. Nobody is in that thing. You can't even get any value off of it. Immortality field totally picking this guy off though. Looks like they were able to retake after that. A Reinhardt Shatter was overcommitted onto Candle, but nobody was there to follow it up. Kid Boss taking down Scarrow. They're still looking up to finish this one up. Lucio Ultimate coming on the side of Michigan. They are looking to pressure out this backline here. Kid Boss in their back, about to get pressured out. Natty Bang totally getting taken down by Notbops. And Victory Blaze, oh my gosh, get off my objective.
With the 4. Oh my goodness. Is there anything he can't play? Honestly, we've seen so many switches from this guy, and he just gets these huge moments. Like, his team is at a loss, and suddenly he comes up with these huge clutch moments. He's just been so consistent for Ohio. And now we've only got 30 seconds left. This is final fight territory.
Absolutely. Victory Blaze coming off of the top here is going to probably be disastrous for this backline. There's not a lot they can do against it.
Yeah, we're going to see the Shatter coming in here. This is big. They probably know it's coming, so Candle's going to be playing pretty conservatively. He wants to block this if he can. Try and bait it out right now, maybe. He blocks it. Completely whiffed.
It's getting a little scrappy, but they have some ultimates, and it is down to overtime. It is not going to be easy to keep on holding this at this point. And yeah, Victory Blaze initiated that fight with his engagement. He's going to be able to use this ultimate just to pressure everyone off the objective. It feels like they're stalling out her. Honestly, they weren't killing her very quick. Oh, ball doesn't make it either.
Just shy of 3, and I gotta be honest with you here. We're seeing a difference that we see between Michigan and Ohio. Ohio tends to have better quality roads, and right now, Victory Blaze on this Doomfist is paving a great path to winning this map right now. They just gotta get the full 3.
Yeah, get the full 3. Well, I get, is that a 3 when you cap it on second, or is it just like you did better second, or is that the new objective? It turns the
Yeah,
3.
that's the new objective. So if they get the 75.5 or 76, that is going to be 3 points to 2
Is it 6 on
in
your
their
screen? It's
favor.
5 on my screen.
Well, it's 75.75. So if they hit just 0.01 higher than that, then that's when you get the we pushed further than you, we claim the victory.
I think also if you stop it on the 75-75, it's a literal draw. It's incredibly rare, but it's programmed in the game.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's what we're gonna see here in this moment. But you know what?
It's
So far, this game has given us so much. If it were to happen, I think at that point I would just kind of sit back and let it happen. I wouldn't want to interfere in any way.
I'm so excited about this. I've been looking out for Candle's ball for a little bit now. Oh no, but they're on they're on attack. He's probably not keeping it. I really like seeing Candle's ball. He gets a lot of value out of it.
Yeah, he had huge impact on the control map on Lijiang at first. And he was the one who got the double boop at the end of the Rialto push where they almost flipped it around for a 3-meter victory.
He's keeping it. Okay, Wrecking Ball, like the name describes, is just a character that, oh my gosh, he's just taking the million damage right now. Definitely feeding ult charge like a, whoa, a huge deck coming out of Candle, dropping down onto the team, getting pressured out pretty heavily here, forgetting that he didn't have his E up though, so he kind of fed. That tech was amazing. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was incredible. The only problem I have, like, honestly, I could never do that in my wild stream, but when he knocked them all up, nobody was close enough to follow up, and then he just got burned down, and now you've just lost 30 seconds. It's not a ton to lose, but when you're feeding like that, feeding ult, look at this Junkrat. He's already 70% of the way to his ultimate.
Tons.
Nobody on the other team is even halfway to an ultimate. So this could become a big case of ult economy if they keep playing this ball and they keep getting the same result.
Yeah. They know the ball's coming in already. They're ready to deal with this thing. Oh, Legendary getting picked up by Notaman just at the front lines here. Kid Boss, oh my gosh, totally sniping Scarrow out of the fight here, and they are just pressing them out. A really, honestly, weird composition coming on the side of, you know, Shatter Heights, and it's not working that great.
Yeah, they're playing into the Junkrat who can trap you, the Sigma who can accretion you and stun you, the McCree who can flashbang stun you, and a Brigida that can stun you too. Ball does not like stuns. Most of the team has stuns though. This is not something you want to play into. Yeah,
they're holding really close together as well, so all of this damage is going to be negated. Spin to win, that's what Candle knows best. Oh, Iris coming out of the side of Melvindale, and they are going to be totally protecting this backline of theirs, getting 2 picks on Knopops and Kid Boss Scarrow, also taking down Eggs. It is a clean cap on their side. It seems like Candle finally did his job, took some space away, and allowed his team to push up, you know?
Yeah, the thing is he was a little bit feeding in those moments, but when he gets those smashes down onto the enemy team and hits 5 of them, that builds a good amount of ult charge. He was probably leading his team in ult economy, so it was just a matter of, yeah, I'm feeding a little bit, but as long as we can sustain and get some early picks, which we know they're capable of, he actually gets some impact with those mines, and there you go. They end up capturing quicker than Melvindale.
Absolutely. Kid Boss picking up Victoria Blaze, not unexpected. Oh no, Candle hitting the trap. Unfortunate, kid.
You hate to see it. Yeah, they take the high ground here, and Candle tries to push right up into it, and you can see the trap goes down. Brig immediately does the 180 flip to stun him again. He's not getting out of that alive.
No, it's really frustrating to have to play against that, but he's determined. McCree's gonna get half his ultimate if he had it again. He's just constantly getting scared. Oh my gosh, Candle. He ran a NASCAR track into their team, and the crowd just shot them.
Yeah, one of the problems is you saw the McCree use High Noon in that fight when Candle died to the trap. He's already halfway to his next one. The problem with a player like Wrecking Ball is he can't fight away from the McCree, so as long as you can hit them, you can just build ults so quickly, like under a minute kind of thing.
Two Stigmas are now on the side of Ohio. They are pushing this forward, trying to get as aggressive as possible. Victoria Blaze just about to fall. A wasted ultimate. The real Sigma ultimate coming down on the team. Brigida finally popping her ultimate, maybe a little bit too late. Both Brigida's ultimates are on the side. Scarrow, Victory Blaze, and Netty Bang. All four killing people on the side of Michigan. Yeah, that is a pretty strong attack.
Yeah, I think they got really distracted. The Echo didn't end up working out, but she played her part. She took the attention away from the actual Sigma. He gets a huge grab. They follow it up with the Pulse Bomb, and then there you go. From then on, it's just taking out whoever's left.
They're honestly, they're just playing. They're playing for ultimates. Ohio is like, oh, look at that. Pretty good. Trying to open it up for their Echo, getting another pick onto Kid Boss in the back line. Kid Blaze is just taking advantage of this high ground right now. Sigma ultimate coming down, but getting canceled out, so it was not very effective. Candle in the back, somehow getting a kill on Notbops from an ultimate he placed 15 seconds ago. And yeah, they are cleaning it up. They are working in the chaos right now. The reason I love seeing Candle's ball is because it works in these chaotic fights.
Yeah, it's buying them fights that they don't have the right to win. You look at their ult economy, and you saw 4 ultimates coming in on the side of Melvindale, and they end up using one, which gets nothing, and they didn't get a single pick in that fight. They didn't have to commit a lot on the side. They did the Wrecking Ball, who's already at 60% again. They committed the Zenyatta ultimate, but they're about to build up to another defensive ultimate for support, so they bought a lot of time for themselves with that.
Scarrow's in a backline pick, get the stick on the, oh my gosh, Scarrow dying to his own bomb, tragic. Beginning Kid Boss in the process. This is a close fight that's going to be on the objective. Moira popping her ultimate in response, and they are able to clear them off, it looks like. Hopefully there is not any staggerings right near. They need to regroup, get some cooldowns before anything bad happens, because they're going to have some ultimates driving right into their face. A Sigma ultimate bringing them all up into the high ground here, dropping straight down onto them. Another pile driver onto their back. A bomb drops onto Nalamo. A high noon on side of Kid Boss, taking down 3. The back line is completely shattered for the side of Ohio. That was a great fight, just backing up, letting them take space, letting Candle feed a little bit more so you can get that ult charge. Notaman getting taken down by Candle. Honestly, with this composition, I'd expect a little bit more response to this for Candle. Brigida, both Brigidas popping out their ultimates, giving their teams just a little bit more on for Candle, diving in, as well as Victory Blaze swapping over to the Sigma, taking up a lot of damage again, and it looks like she's about to fall. And they are just kind of holding on to whatever they have in front of them. Ohio is still here. They still want to take a fight. Not Victory Blaze putting down his fake Sigma ultimate. He swaps off before he can get it off. He gets 0 value for that pick. Candle coming back in. A huge bomb coming on the side of Scarrow. Candle knocking them back into the bombs. It is bombs everywhere on the side of Ohio. Totally clearing them off at this point.
What was that fight, though? I mean, that went forever. I think he
undeserved.
I think he got 2 of the Wrecking Ball ults in a single fight, and it had huge impact. They did not follow up on him and give him the respect he deserved. He's really coming alive on the.
They win right here if they don't stop and stall this out, because all they have to do is cap right here. There's no second chances, but they're getting kind of distracted with another ball. Scarrow getting a pick on Notaman. Kid Boss getting a pick on Scarrow. Victory Blaze getting a pick on Notbops. It is a death fight on the objective right now. It is not so even. Kid Boss, they have the spawn advantage. Victory Blaze killing Naisu. It is so close on the objective. A Brigida ultimate, both Brigidas popping their ultimates again. They are clearing them off. The only thing that stands between them is a couple DPS and a ball. What an annoying composition to go up against to have to clear these guys off. But it looks like they have the target focus. They have what it takes. Monkey coming back in. I'm gonna die here if I keep on speaking. And they are just gonna keep on clearing this one up, but they have not fully taken it. Thank God.
Yeah, can we just say, great job on the side of Shaker Heights to bring that fight back and end up just rolling it through. But can we really give the throw out to Dwarfs right now? I mean, that casting was unreal. I didn't even want to step in because you were like in a trance moment where you were just one with the game, and I was like, I don't dare speak to interrupt the one and only, and it was incredible. Wow.
Oh my gosh. The play of the game was Kid Boss's Dragon Ball play, a very classic ability. As long as you can get those 2 ultimates, you have the game in your bag. Good job to, good job to Ohio. They really came through that for that map. I knew as soon as I saw Candle on the ball, I was like, this is gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, we call that the best form of character progression. We had Candle at the beginning just feeding ult like crazy, and we were like, man, he's not getting anything out of this. And then at the end, he's going absolutely insane. He's just getting picks left and right. He's setting up his team for everything. They were down 2-5, and they still won the fight. Like, that is unreal.
It is. And if you're in a comp game and you got a ball on your team and he does that for the first, what is that, 2 minutes? It got down to like a minute, right?
Yeah, it was about
Um,
2 minutes when they took point A.
I mean, I wouldn't be telling him to switch off, but I'd be like, Candle, what other characters do you have? And he's like, guys, trust me. I've been running into them full force. I'm 80 to my ultimate. It's not going to get a lot, but it'll be on the point. It'll get zoning pressure out there. And I think the team understands that. This is a team that I can see Shaker Heights has trust in each of their character picks. Um, they're like, let's run what we practiced and let's see if we can get it to work. That ball Sigma comp is so fun. All you have to do is call a target and everything falls right after.
Yeah, I'm so surprised. Like, I love how much they trust Candle in this because you can see once Candle got the support of his team, he brushed the dust off. He really came alive right there. And I got to be honest, if I were in a competitive game and I was just playing with some folks, I'd probably be putting in the chat, how are we feeling about ball right now? And when the team's not playing like a team, I gotta be honest, that's a little toxic of me. But when the team's not playing like a team, it kind of falls apart. But right here, they're like, we know you can do it. We've seen it. We trust it. There's a reason both these teams are state champs for Michigan and Ohio. They understand what everybody can do and they're willing to trust it through and through.
It's honestly so exciting to see Shaker Heights different strategies. This is a team that has put in honestly a lot of work for the amount of characters we're seeing them come out on and seeing how well they can play their compositions. This is an amazing amount of flexibility, coming on the side of Shaker Heights. It's something I've never even seen really. They're playing it really well. They're playing it adaptively. It seems like they understand how to the point flow. Like they did. We saw double shield. We saw poke. We saw poke Zarya. Um, and we saw kind of the chaos ball right there. And like I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like a Diva Winston dive coming out of these guys. Like they're doing a whole ton. They're really showing what it's like to to be state champ in Ohio. And Melvin Dale is kind of just being like taken for the ride. Like, yeah, we'll shoot Candle. Like we'll trap him, we'll kill him. But like I don't know what's going on for Melvindale. What happened that game?
I think the problem was when they were getting into it. At first, we saw it was very one-sided. They're getting those early picks. I think they're kind of getting really comfortable in the moment, saying like, "What is this attack push? I don't know what they're doing right now. It's not working for them." And I think at that moment, that's when Candle started to finally come alive, and Melvindale might have been looking at it and not taking it as seriously as they could. I mean, they saw the timer was burning down, and they're probably thinking like, I mean, who knows? We could get a full hold here. I'd be surprised. Like, why are they playing this
Yeah,
ball? And as soon as they thought that, as soon as they doubted the ball came alive. I guess
yeah.
the rule now is never doubt the ball.
Never doubt the ball. Never doubt Kendall's ball because it'll wipe you out if you aren't paying attention to it. And next map we have is Hanamura. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not excited to see what Shaker Heights is gonna run, because I think we both know what it's gonna be.
I think it's gonna be. We may or may not see the bunker double shield with the Bastion Symmetra, at least for their defense. I think that's what we're gonna say. For their attack, I'm assuming
No idea.
probably they might go for the Echo again. I think short term Echo's not necessarily working as an individual pick. I think that we've seen Victory playing a little bit stronger on other heroes, but when it comes to drawing the attention, getting off the ultimates that they need, and building this, even if they're not getting the high impact, they're building that for their team to get the high impact, and so it's
Yeah.
still an impactful play. It's just a more long term thing. It's that piece of trust that we were talking about earlier. Like they trust, like, yeah, you might not be getting as crazy picks as you were on McCree,
Hmm.
but it's winning us fights. It's working. They're gonna trust it, and I think that's huge that they can do that.
you know, and like I want to say something nice about Melvindale, but honestly, they're looking a little one note. You know, what can the chef bring me anything else? I've had this dish. Let's see something else in Ryan Zaria, because there's got to be something else you have, and it can't just be DPS. You have to see a full roster swap because it seems like Ohio's ready. Shaker Heights is just they know what they want to they know what compositions they want to be coming out on, and they know that Melvindale really isn't going to be prepared for it.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of the Zarya play. I think it worked well when they were playing on Rialto, but when we were watching this last map right now, we were watching Hollywood. Zarya did not get a lot of impact in that game. I think one of the problems is a lot of your ult charge is built off of defending yourself and your supportive tank, the Reinhardt, and they were probably able to build up some charge off the Reinhardt. But when it came to like defending from the Wrecking Ball can choose to just roll away, so you might bubble because they knock you up. And then if you don't get hit all of a sudden, that's a wasted bubble right there, and you're on a 10-second cooldown now. And so I think it's just one of those things where you're building ultimate slower, you're not getting as many grabs in, and so as a result, your team doesn't have as many ultimates to work with or to combo with. So it could be we need to see a switch off the Zarya.
Yeah, they okay, it looks like Ohio has the Symmetra teleporter, so this is going to bring them really close to the objective or on the objective. And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to react to it. It looks like they identify it and they start backing up to the objective. Yep, they are starting to recognize, let's not give that up. Michigan is being wise here and saying, okay, let's take it a little bit farther back here. And Victory Blaze is on that signature McCree, so this is going to be a massive amount of shield damage. Michigan is going to have to dive straight into them if they want to fight here, but they are giving up more and more space, letting them the Symmetra turrets get onto the objective. And yeah, it is just a bad fight here. Not Almost taking down the immortality fields. They're bringing the fight into them, but that Brigida is looking super low. Yup, Notbop's getting picked off first, like he's done thousands of times before. And it's still not a very confident fight coming on the side of Ohio. Victory Blaze killing Notaman, Candle killing Higgs. They're letting them build up the ults, and they're not taking the fight. Guys,
I think
going
the
on?
problem you had there is they respected it. They read the play. They knew how to handle it, and then we just saw them stand there and let them push in. And I think in that moment you saw honestly there was an early immortality field from Shaker Heights. You should have played off of that. As soon as that went down, there's a lot of play room for that Reinhardt. Bubble him, get him in there, drop the heals on him. But they stayed low. Reinhardt committed, but it didn't look like everybody else committed with him, and so he drops early. That is a bit of an overpush, but it's what you got to do sometimes.
Blocking the Reinhardt shatter on the side of Ohio. A counter shatter that's much bigger than whatever they came out with. A beautiful play because, Notbops, he blocked the shatter. He's winning the Rhine head game. He's winning the brain battles. I love it.
The main tank difference. That's like trying to put Kick Cereal up against Lucky Charms in front of a 9-year-old. You're never going to win that fight. They're always going to want what they saw second.
That's an amazing analogy. For ultimates, what do we have going on?
We've got the Riptire. I think we're going to see what we've seen before. Baptiste is going to try and throw the Immortality, but the problem is we've seen some patience with Junkrat. He's been willing to wait for his team to take it out. He might get a lot of impact here.
TP coming out.
And Noon too. I think they're going to go double DPS here.
Uh-oh, Junkrat totally caught out here because they TP'd up to him. Notaman might be getting picked off, but Victory Blaze has to just hit his shots, and he finally does. Tragic, Notaman. They're coming out of the Symmetra ultimate, totally making a lot of space for them. McCree getting Scarrow, but that's only a DPS. Victory Blaze matching, but for a main heals. It is now just a full brawl on the objective, still on the side of Ohio. But they still have the spawn advantage. Oh my gosh, Junkrat Tower was totally thrown in there for nothing. And this looks like a 4-minute cap, if I'm gonna say it, but these stalls go on forever.
Reinhardt shatter though, and the grab. If they can get bodies on the point with immediately, maybe, and he goes down immediately.
It's sad because once you have advantages like that, there's really nothing you can do. You have a positional advantage to take care of these guys. Sure, they're stalling it out a little bit more, but there's no hope. There's honestly no hope.
Yeah, the Symmetra was the big play there for Shaker Heights. I think coming into that fight, Melvindale had a ton of potential, but as soon as that TP came out, you had Notaman out of position, and no fault to his own. He was in a good spot for where they were pushing. They were pushing mid, but they forgot Symmetra gives them insane mobility, and so as soon as they rotate, as soon as they knew that's where Junkrat was, he gets picked off. From then on, you see them suddenly commit the wall from Symmetra. They commit the high noon. They know that that's the push point. That's where they can get advantage, and from then on, it was just staggering in for Melvindale, and that's why we've got almost 4 minutes on the time bank. Just that one misplay on behalf of Melvindale, not recognizing that the Sim TP was potentially going to come out.
Now, 2CP is a weird map type because a lot of times you'll have teams, cap on like tons of time, 6 minutes, and then you'll match it, and then you'll just kind of whittle that down until you're on round 10, and you want to ball your eyes out,
Yeah.
because why would you want to sit here for that long? And guess what? Our boy can't. This is a really, again, another very weird comp coming on the side of
Defensive
Ohio.
ball. I like the Pharah pick, though. That is going to be highly impactful, especially against heroes like the Moira. You're going to get early fades out from the Moira on Melvindale's side. You're going to get Baptiste caught out. You're going to shut down Sim teleports. This is a big play here. I think this is the right call to make. I don't know about Candle, but again, it's trust.
For some reason, I already imagine Victory Blaze has his ultimate because look how fast he's about to charge this thing up. They have, oh my gosh, they're getting boot forward. The TP was totally destroyed. They knocked him up, put him into his shot. That was beautiful. A great deal of coordination and synergy coming out of this team. I can already see it. Reinhardt just charging onto the objective to, for some reason, this is a gross overcommitment. I know you got to the point, but that's lost, guys. You can't be there.
Yeah, I think at this point on Hanamura, it's become pretty widely accepted, especially in 2020. You're going to go for the Sim teleport, and I think the Pharah pick is for that purpose. You see how quickly she reads the Sim teleport's coming out. That's the first pick off. They destroy the TP, and from then on, it just fell apart immediately. So that is huge read on the side of Shaker Heights.
You didn't see it, but Notaman got almost killed the Pharah. Candle is setting up for a backline attack here. He's pushing them through right now, bowling them into the front line. But didn't find that much. Just kind of pads his ult. Look at Melvindale doing their signature. Let's just sit around and find out what happens. They decided to go on to this Sigma, totally pressuring out. Nice job, but they still have to capture the rest of this point. Not Almo getting picked off by Scarrow. There are some part of this maps they are not paying attention to. Candle getting picked off finally. Pharah ultimate under the backline. Pharah gets 2, and she is still alive. It seems like Victory Blaze totally saving this for his team. Like I said during the middle of that freaking team fight, I said there's parts of this map that they aren't paying attention to. They said, sure, come in, we're gonna bite you in the neck.
Yeah, I think one of the big problems we had there is we've got the double-edged sword. They're going to switch off of Junkrat quickly over to Soldier. I think this is smart because they switched to the Junkrat, which is a double-edged sword. You saw the early pick on the Sigma because it gives a lot of shield break, but now you're putting all the work on your McCree to take out a Mercy-pocketed Pharah, and that is a big ask. So they switch over to the Soldier. They get a first pick off. This is going to potentially be big for them.
The high noon! That's beautiful!
They up to get the Pharah. Actually a misplay because at that moment, he gets above to get the sightline.
Pharah's still alive, and they kill him. What happened? What happened, guys? What happened? What happened to the fight? You did things. You killed people. And it all went to crap. I think that was an overextension and miscoordination because when...
yeah, Melvindale's making the right switches at the right time. They're doing the things that on paper should be working. They get the first pick both of those fights, and then it just kind of falls apart. I don't know what it is that they're doing, that they're taking these advantages and just kind of throwing them out the window, if it's positioning or timing or miscommunication, but they are down to a minute left.
The Scarrow is currently hiding here, looking for a fan the hammer that will end the game here. Kid Boss getting a pick on Victory Blaze, probably quickly going to be res. Not Almo falling down to Scarrow. I wonder how many times this happened before. Notaman getting sniped by Scarrow pretty quickly here. Man, it is night and day.
The only benefit for Melvindale right there is it ended so quickly, they're going to have another push here. That's the only plus side you get out of that fight.
That's not a good benefit, dude. That's not like it's not a fun benefit. And Victory Blaze has his
Such an early pick. He's getting close to his ultimate, and he's what you want to counter. But long distance rockets, he gets taken out early. And now that one fight they earned from a quick death is slipping out of their hands.
I don't even care that Candle died early. He's been doing that for 3 fights, but nothing's been happening because they get picks right after. It's okay. Yep, fair ultimate coming straight in. Higgs, the only pick they kill is hit the Victory Blaze. Again, I don't even care that Candle's dying. I think we're too small brained. In the scale that Candle is operating on, he's being able to feed his mind off and still get value.
I think it's a matter of what we talked about when we were looking at the Echo play as this just kind of burns out in front of us.
It's tragic.
The Echo play wasn't getting a ton of value, but it was setting up value. And I think that's what Candle's doing. They get a pick off on him, but then his team is able to position and follow up and take the kills after that. So he dies first, but then his team gets the next 2 or 3 kills. And from there, it's Defender's advantage.
I love how we just talked through the entire final team fight of that.
Oh, it wasn't a fight. It was a feed.
It wasn't a fight.
Feed.
It was just...
It was the final feed.
Oh, God. It was just like, it was truly burning out, like you said. It was just seeing like a sputtering flame. We have one more game, correct?
We do have one more, but yeah, honestly, I talked through it because I didn't want to watch it. I was ready to get us to the next.
Move on.
This is
Holy
wipe.
Okay, I haven't been talking him up enough, but Mayhem Rules, the Baptiste is a demon on the aim.
Yeah, he has been getting picks, or at least putting in a ton of damage towards those picks. His immortality fields have been immaculate. I've seen maybe one that was slightly early, but even then, his team took the win in that fight anyway. So really, he has just had tons of impact with that. There's a reason he hasn't switched off. Melvindale hasn't done anything to abuse the Baptiste, and it's showing. He is getting tons of impact. You saw he's getting cards left and right. He is getting plays of the game. I mean, he's doing it.
I definitely really like seeing him on the BAP. I wonder how often. I think they're running that always, no matter. Like we said, with like, oh wow, their comps real different. I think they always have him, which I wouldn't want to switch him off. Do whatever he needs. Get power that guy. And our last map type. What's the score?
It is currently 2-1. Shaker Heights is leading with the 2.
Yeah.
So since Melvindale lost, they will be the ones that get to decide first elimination of a map, as well as if they want to defend or attack first. So that is the advantage of being a loser. Of course, the downside is you are down another point. So double-edged sword, to say the least.
Yeah, I don't get to pick the side. You said it was assault on this map, then, or not assault? What it's called, assault.
It should be. We should be seeing an escort map here, or a hybrid map actually. So we've seen the full escort. Actually, it sounds like we're going to be going to control again.
Doesn't even matter what side you pick; it's even either way. And guess what we saw originally? We saw a win for Ohio. Shaker Heights has come into this game coming full force on the first map and full force everywhere else. The only thing that we need to happen is Melvindale needs to pick it up. Melvindale needs to pick different characters because they found the most success when they're on other things. I know that's weird to say. Even the diva, that didn't work out exactly, but I think maybe with some time could have found something. But get on different things, get on different characters, try something else because this is the last map you've got to win it here. You got to reverse sweep them here, the 2-2. So I'm really hoping they understand the position that they're in and start making the changes.
Yeah, I want to see this come alive for them. I'm hoping that they have an answer here. We're gonna be going into Nepal here for our control map. I really don't want to see it go the way that Lijiang went. I think given how yes, Shaker Heights has been giving us quite the show, but I think honestly Melvindale gets some credit here. We are talking both these teams are state champions. Like they are putting it out there. I think there are things that Melvindale could adjust, But when we look at some of their plays, they've had good moments. They've been able to get the read. I got to be honest, I don't know what happened on Hanamura. I think the problem was they played okay in the second point until that TP happened and Junkrat got picked out. I think that if they had been able to hold that right there, we could have seen a very different Hanamura. But I
Yeah.
think once that happened, they got rolled that quickly. It kind of shakes up the mental for them. And I think,
And then we went to Ohio defense. We always said Shaker was going to have a crazy good defense. They didn't do what we said they would, but they did amazing.
yeah, I loved seeing the Farah pick. I think they read really well what they expected their enemies to do. And even then, to the credit of Melvindale, they tried to swap it out. It's just for some reason they weren't able to, get a clean fight in. They'd get the first fight, they'd get the first pick, but then there was
They get the
always
first two
something.
picks.
Yeah, there was always something that happened that threw them off, whether it was somebody throwing an ultimate at the right time or flanking McCree that gets the flashbang and the fan the hammer onto the Moira. There was always something that them up. And when you're constantly, just as you're starting to get your footing, you trip again, it has to be incredibly aggravating. So I think that that was something that was really working against Melvindale. They got unexpectedly rolled in the first push where we weren't necessarily thinking it would happen, and then they just have these constant missteps too. So hopefully they
Yeah.
can regroup mentally and show us something to see on Nepal.
I think this is their map. I'm gonna say that. I think the Melvindale, this is uh their best map for the composition they have. Ryan Zarya is known to be very, very successful on these maps. Close quarters, and these fights happen rotationally. That means you just kind of play do-si-do around each other, and run into them like a truck, and that's what gets wins. And I want to see it. We're going to be starting off on Village, which we might see the May out again. I don't remember how effective it was. It wasn't effective at all actually in Naval, but it might happen. It's
Yeah,
also our most open out of all of them.
I think they switched off of when they were playing May on Rialto. I think they switched off that pretty quick. It was in that secondary round push that Melvindale had where we saw a lot of the crazy plays. Like they gave up point A, but then they also highly committed and almost took it back right there. It was just a lot of chaos at that moment. We got to be honest, that probably aged us a lot. We can't remember it very well. We're just gonna like 2020. We're just gonna move on and just
Move on.
accept what happened. Real quick before the match starts here, just another shout out to our sponsors. We've got Joel Tech and Dell, as well as our diamond sponsors, Addicts and Inacomp. Once again, deeply appreciative to those donations. It really helps these programs for schools to build up lots of students having access to competitive. Looking at our comp, what are we seeing here, Dwarfs?
The Candle. Candle is on the ball, and I'm so excited to see it because dictating these fights when it comes to Ryan Zarya's with the ball is so powerful. They're running a good amount of stuns, but again, we've seen that's not everything for them. Kendall is basically scouting out the objective and about to probably ram them from behind here, coming up very soon with the oh my gosh, straight into the choke here. His team wasn't super ready to respond, but he is still in a wrecking ball in their backline, literally, and they're getting pushed back to the objective. They're probably going to get first cap if Candle doesn't have anything to say for it. Notbop's getting pressured out here, doesn't have a whole ton of shield. They get first cap. Victory Blaze taking down Alamo. That is your main heal's gone. You got to stop falling first because they got no shields and they're getting pressured exactly into this corner. Kid Boss getting a pick on Sparrow. Mayhem Rules getting a pick on Higgs. No heals on the side of Michigan. They are getting bopped back into the bowels of where they came from, because Victory Blaze is destroying them from the front lines. It's exactly what we saw first round in Control, and I think we're gonna see it again.
Yeah, they get the early victory of capturing point first, but it's a hollow victory. They've only got 18%, which right now we're going to see Shaker Heights pass in just a few moments. You've got a lot of ultimates building up too. That fight went long enough that there's a ton working for Shaker Heights. They've got all the options in the world coming ahead. They just got to not die first.
Candle diving in, putting down his ultimate, splitting up the team pretty majorly. I'd be really surprised to see if they can reorganize for a win here. Moira ultimate coming in the side of not Alamo. Alamo picking off Victory Blaze, a major source of their DPS, totally falling. It looks like the Zenyatta ultimate's coming on the side of Ohio. Never been killing Kid Boss. I'm not sure how this one's going to go because that bomb's not going to really find anything except for Notbops totally falling here. They have no point pressure. 0 point pressure for that entire fight. None of that fight was on the objective. So they weren't able to get any the point capture. We're down to 50%.
Yeah, they get, once again, we see the issue. They get the first pick. They got a crucial pick, too. They killed Victory Blaze, who's been huge for this team. So you would think this is the push point. But from then on, they get the initial
Never
push,
is.
and then they over-respect Shaker Heights, I
Ugh.
think. They give them too much credit, and they just rotate around them, and the fight just takes forever. We saw this when they won, even when they won a fight on Li Zhang, they never captured. And here, they had the advantage, and they never pushed it.
Candle dropping his ultimate in their backline here. They are confused. Michigan is confused on what to do. Not Alamo beaming straight into a bomb. I bet he facepalmed right hard after that. Candle is really dominating this round. He's really not being taken care of like we thought he would. Oh my gosh. We're going to see basically a quadra kill coming out of from Candle for this fight. That is remarkable. They just aren't doing anything to stop him. And they are still caught out. What is happening, Melvindale? This is not the Melvindale we know. They are getting beaten around this objective, and they are using ultimates when they don't need them. And it is overtime. That is it. That was an 18% capture on the first objective. Victory Blaze totally taking out. Wow, Kid Boss, you really got him. When do you get him? Not at the time you need him.
I mean, it's not 100-0, right? So that's
It's not
good.
100-0.
But yeah, again, it's those moments. It's a pacing issue. Melvindale is taking first picks, which is indicative that they could set the pace to what they want it to be. But the problem is they want a really slow pace. They want to give a lot of respect when they hold an advantage. And then Shaker Heights has the ability to sustain through it. They're able to commit at the right times or fall back at the right times to be able to push into the next fight. Then they get that person back who was the early pickoff. They get a couple of their own. And then there you go. They clean up nice and quick.
If Shaker Heights wins this map, that is going to be tonight's game. So I really hope they start actually paying attention to this guy. Kid Boss on the Sombra, which is the direct counter to Candle here. So let's see how it works out. He's doing his normal rollout. No one is ever looking at him. Hack has not come out just yet, and he gets immediately out. He's getting 26% ult charge, and they haven't done a darn thing. Malvadale currently sitting on the objective. They're just poking at them. No shield anymore on the side of Notbops. Notbops immediately falling because he's got no more shield. Candle is playing a quick play game right now. No one's looking at this guy. He just got his first hack, and the game is done.
Yeah,
that fight is over.
I don't know if I agree with the Sombra pick here. With Sombras, the big idea is getting off the big EMP, building it up quickly so that way your team can come in and roll. But we're sitting at 24% ultimate, and the clock is ticking now. There's going to be a ton of pressure, and you're losing a lot of DPS picking a Sombra. I don't think this is the way to play it, but maybe they'll show something here.
Candle dropping down again, uncontested, going down and straight into them, pushing them straight into the team fight, that death zone. Notbops getting a pick on Heavy Bang, but it doesn't matter. Candle is still around here. Candle just earning his spot in the Hall of Fame here because he is just scouring through these guys, and they aren't doing a darn thing. I don't think they care that Candle's there.
Yeah, the thing is, he's coming alive in a big way, too. Before, we saw a lot of picks through his mines, but in that fight right there, he got 2 before he even dropped them. The mines were just to dedicate a surefire victory. Like, he didn't even need them if he didn't want to. We see the switch over from Kid Boss onto the McCree, but at this point, it's already 55%, and he's got to build an ultimate here. This is what I'm saying. I don't think that the Sombra was a good pick when your back's to the corner. That's not the play.
Yeah, and Victory Blaze is just pressuring down that. Oh my gosh, Victory Blaze getting pressure off the point. This is probably the most coordinated push I've seen from them so far, but they respond immediately with the Zenyatta ultimate. It's not looking really good because they're kind of just sitting around again. High Noon coming on the side of Melvindale or on the side of Ohio, and they get taken down pretty quickly. Scare killing Kid Boss. They're missing a main heals and main DPS. It's not looking really good. Legendary taking down Notbops. Nice killing Candle finally. That's got to feel good. Scarrow, oh my gosh, and we are down to 12%, 10% here. There's no one to touch.
Maybe the Moira, but she's not gonna live long.
Well, yeah. Guys, F in chat. That was it.
Yeah, a really kind of a quiet finish to the match. I mean,
I could have yelled. Listen, I could have screamed about how holy crap, they're not touching the point. Nutty.
Yeah, the thing is, I I think I'm left almost a little disappointed. I think that Melvindale had the right pieces in play. It's just the missteps that Shaker Heights was able to read so well because they're winning early fights. They're committing ults at, other than some occasional moments, pretty good times. They're making hero switches that make sense to counter, but it's just not coming up right. They've got every piece of the equation. They're just not the best at algebra. And at the end of the day, that's what you need.
Yeah, that they just aren't getting the right answers here, and they really want to. They just need to have the confidence in themselves. And like, I think even thinking back to our championship game with Melvindale, they deserve their spot as Michigan champions, because they had the energy coming into that. They had the confidence coming into that. Coming into this game, it didn't seem like they had that same confidence. Um, Maybe it's just a different in experience, difference in how much time they've gotten to do it. I mean, not all these teams are created equal. No teams are equal. Um, so it can be frustrating to come up against these guys, and they're I bet they're looking to get to break pretty quick here.
Yeah, I think the big thing that you mentioned here is just the level of difference. And I think what it comes down to is when we looked at the state championship tournament for Michigan, you've got a lot of these teams will stream or you will play against them. So you know them, you get to learn them to an extent. You get to watch because I mean even here we're streaming their games. So when you come up against an enemy, chances are you've seen them a little bit quite recently. So you know what they're going to play. In this, it is a blind draw. And so it really comes down to how do you adapt in the moment? How do you make those switches? And we saw tons of switches from Shaker Heights. I mean, Victory Blaze alone probably played half the characters available to a DPS player and showed high performance on all of them. Even when we talked about the Echo, we said it didn't get the full impact we were hoping for. But even then, it set up the stage just like Candle did early on. Candle wasn't getting the highest impact, but it was setting up the impact for his team. So then he had the opportunity to come alive and really set it off for everybody. So even in those scenarios, they're getting the plays that they need when one player is not necessarily like maybe feeding a little bit, the rest of the team is picking up off that opportunity. They're reading that everybody on Melvindale is going for the feed and jumping on it.
Yeah, Melvindale clearly just doesn't have the same things that Shaker Heights has. Shaker Heights is starting out these fights, or Melvindale is starting out these fights with two picks. They have the opportunity, they have the stuff to do it. They just need the confidence to follow through on the play. So I'm sure that I'm sure that we're going to see a lot of um, improvement on those facts. They're going to figure out here's what was going wrong. It seems like Candle and Victory Blaze were they were in our back line. They weren't being checked. Our DPS were not focused on them. Our healers were just getting popped off immediately. Yeah, not Almo. If I were to tell like who's getting picked off first, it's not Almo and not Bobs. And they were not alive because they just keep on getting picked off first. They know who to focus before the game even starts. So in the meantime, we're gonna be uh we're gonna be hanging this one back up until we can get another win.
Put it
Uh,
away for
s-
another time. Yeah,
we're-
joining us actually now is we're gonna have the opportunity to talk to casters from our friends in Ohio at Esports Ohio. Welcome to the channel. I do believe they're here, and we're gonna have a chat with them, kind of break down what was happening, what we saw from both teams, and just really digest what the heck we just saw.
yeah, I think they won the border. I think that's what this was deciding on. Now
Yeah, they get
Michigan's map
to.
is literal
I do.
different.
I do believe they get to keep Toledo as a result. I think that is what was at stake. So, congratulations to Ohio for keeping Toledo.
Thank
We
you.
can
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having us. What a tremendous match. I mean, what a fun competition to watch go down today.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. That was in unison. That was weird. Yeah, we were just talking, kind of breaking down, looking at some of the different maps. I think the one that I want to start off looking at is probably what was most exciting to us was Rialto. Like, what was going on for at least from your perspective, seeing this back and forth and constantly we were just like, oh my gosh, they're gonna win this fight, and then it would switch on us all the time.
I think what you saw there was uh, your guys' Reinhardt just playing out of his mind. It's domination.
Yeah, a lot of times it's for Reinhardt plays. I expect Reinhardt's going to be better. You know, there's a reason we say tank diff. It's because it just comes down to these weird micro plays. But they, not the Hops really came to the rose to the opportunity and like started playing the mind games a little better in some moments, and it was exciting to see that.
It was very cool.
Some of the star players that we also want to talk about on the side of Ohio is Candle. We got so excited when we saw the ball because we were like, "This is gonna be really interesting," and it started off. We started off like a normal ball that I find in my comp games, and it ended with Harblue. It's
Yeah.
ending with something crazy happening because he's on the ball. What's happening?
I I think when you have that tracer along with them, it just causing disruption, really.
Hmm. Definitely. Uh, Yeah, and then we saw Victory Blaze, an amazing player coming out of the first part of the map, decimating people with his hit scan ability as well as his echo, and we can definitely appreciate all the trust that is put into Victory Blaze and how much honestly like the flexibility is coming out the side of Ohio. You played Victory Blaze played at least half of the DPS roster available to him, and he played it really well. Which is so exciting to see coming out of a team like this. Like, why are you guys so flexible? What's your training look like?
Yeah, what's in the water in Ohio basically is what we
Not
want to know.
PFAS, not lead.
Yeah. No, I think just experience. I know Victory Blaze, he's silver border, right? I think if I remember right. And just a lot of gameplay, I don't know.
Victory Blade.
Mhm.
I mean, he has been a leader for like 2 years now. They're back-to-back state champs in Ohio, Shaker Heights. They have a good relationship with the Cavs Legion esports program out of Cleveland. So they do have some connections that kind of help push them further and really help develop their program over the last 2 years. It's been exciting to see.
And like we weren't really super familiar with that Shakerville's rise to the top in Ohio. But what did their season look like before this?
It was pretty dominant. We played a 7 week season this year, and they were undisputed. They ran their conference, 7-0, made it to the finals, and I think they only dropped maybe 2 maps throughout their whole playoff run. So they're pretty solid. So I have
No,
to have
nice.
their coach from Shaker speak more to the actual stats, but it was a pretty dominant performance. But I know the finals match there was a little bit of drama involved in there too. So I know they have an aggressive play style, which sometimes the more conservative teams that slow play a little bit better have more success over that. So that does hurt them a little bit when they rush. But for the most part, I mean, nobody can hang.
Honestly, why didn't they have the San Francisco Shock player icons on their team? That's just the sense I'm getting right now out of Ohio. One of the things we wanted to talk about, because honestly, I think Hanamura was a bit of a misstep for Melvindale. I think they took all the right moves. It was just a constant, like, as soon as they got their footing, they were tripping up, things like that. So it's just they could never get a consistent pace of walking. And when we watched Rialto, it was very back and forth. Both teams were showing pretty full prowess going on. Um, Control maps, on the other hand, that was a really one-sided occasion. Like from the Ohio perspective, the Masters, if you will, of this day, what would you say was the biggest problem that Melvindale had going into these control maps?
I think that's got to be again the ball. Maybe yeah. I think the ball and the Sigma was a very good strategy against what what was run from like the Michigan side. It just again, I say this, I've been saying this a bunch, but the disruption. You can have the tracer ball going from behind while the rest of the team pushes from the front. Then you've got to fight both sides, and it's just chaotic.
Yeah, and it didn't seem like they had a lot of answers for a lot of it. Even though there are Ryan Zaria, like you said, it's exactly what you've been saying, which is they're kind of passive. So your team knows how to take advantage of that. It seems like your team knows what it's like to be in a conference of a lot of passive players. So they're they're dictating how the rhythm of this game is going to go, and ball is a wonderful way to do that. So you can definitely see that the ball is in your court, and you're going to be coming into these fights with a just a massive starting advantage. Even though Melvindale, honestly, we're getting a lot of picks on you guys pretty early on in the fights. But then you're able to just scrounge up a win out of nowhere. Eventually on Hanamura, I said, like, after Candle had died for like the fifth time, I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, you kill Candle, so what? You're gonna lose the next fight.
Yeah, it was just, I think one of the, Shaker Heights did a really good job of focusing and all going in on the one person
Yeah.
very well. So they could have been down two people, but they all go in on the same person, and it's just
Yeah, their flanks. There are really great flanks. Like you had a hidden McCree one time. You had a Reaper tearing out the back line, but that means that you need to know what's going to happen. It's not 100%. Everyone needs to shoot the same person. I can see you guys have awesome target focus.
Yeah, honestly, for me, I think what I want to do moving forward is I want to do a case study on Ohio because what I was like on paper, I don't know how math works in Ohio, but on paper that some of those things just should not have worked. I mean, when Candle was playing ball early on, he it looked like he needed a little warming up, but he was playing into Ryan Zarya and four different stuns coming out from Melvindale, and it was still working. I was like, how do you do that? How do you go through four stuns with no shielding and you still come out on top? Like, I just don't.
Or the double hit scan against a and it's still working out. You're getting off your ults and you're getting off your reses. Oh, easy.
Yeah, or 2v5s that go way too close than they should have been. Fights where you were way down in ult economy and you still come back by committing like one or two things, maybe. It's
Oh,
insane.
yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, great game.
yeah, that was one of the things I think Shaker Heights did very well again is in the fights and like control points that they held that they were like really dominant in. It seemed like they got early picks, and it didn't seem like you guys ever really had a full fight after that. After the first two fights or so, it just seemed like it was very hard to reset.
Yeah, they didn't have Melvindale doesn't have the flexibility like you guys. They
Hmm.
stayed on the same composition the entire night. Maybe they brought in a diva one time, but that was it. And your team decided to let's put out all of our cards on the table and show that we can beat them with every single one of these. Because in each one will dictate how the fight's going to go.
Yeah,
I loved
definitely.
it.
They're very tempo setting. Shaker was like just ults big.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
that's something we talked about actually early on. Even in that first map of Lijiang, we were saying that you watch like they pulled back, Shaker Heights pulled back when they wanted to. Like they knew what pace they wanted to play. They weren't going to allow the game to get taken over by what Melvindale wanted. They always, even when they were getting pushed off a point completely, they were making that decision themselves. They chose to let it happen. It wasn't a matter of getting pushed away. They were allowing this to happen and then responding and getting that huge impact.
Hmm. Yeah, it's very impressive. And I don't think we should take away from Melvindale's like performance because I they did very good on some maps. Like and in fights, it looked like it could have gone either way in many different on like different maps and different fights. I think it could have gone either way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I definitely see that too. I think in the end though, it just kind of came down to like the control maps. I think if they had been able to rewrite just a handful of errors in different places on Hollywood or on Hanamura, we could be looking at the 3-2. But it ended up being like you couldn't afford to get those losses knowing at what a disadvantage it looked like you were on control. You couldn't afford to lose these other map types. You had to get those points to come out on top, and it just didn't work out to be quite enough.
Yeah.
But still, really great play from both teams. There's a reason they're both state champs. They'd kick my butt any day in competitive. Like let's not get it twisted here. Like that would happen.
So, interesting question here. What's your team looking like for break? What do you guys? Yeah, after this huge, like another double win, what's it going to be?
Hmm.
That's a good question. For
Like,
Shaker Heights specifically, their program, they're going to continue to practice and compete when opportunities present themselves. But we kind of got off time, over Christmas break, like a lot of the programs. We're going to hit the reset button and we're going to come back for the spring season here. Signups open up on January 25th for Esports Ohio. We actually play all 7 of our titles twice a year in Ohio. So they will get a whole nother competitive season yet this year in the spring.
oh my gosh. Well, we'll be excited for a potential rematch, and we'll see you there. Yeah, but I think that is all the questions I
Oh,
had. Ox, if you had anything else.
I just I mostly am disappointed we didn't get Toledo out of this. So it's maybe next year we
Yeah,
get Toledo. I don't know. We'll
some
we'll
nice
talk
people down
about
there.
it.
so does this mean we get the UP? I mean, is that how this works?
Ah, hey, calm down here.
Now you
Uh,
got to fight Wisconsin for that. They're the ones who are out here laying claims to it. You'd have to talk to them.
with your donations, you can make Michigan disappear.
Well, hey, I gotta say, even though Ohio won the battle of the border tonight, you guys certainly win the stream setup of the year.
Oh, come on.
The RGB and backlighting effects we're seeing here on your screen.
Yeah, it
I
might
mean,
look weird, but we're actually in the exact same room. Here, I'm coming over to his house, your place now. Hey, dude. What's up?
Hey, sup, man? What's wrong with us? I don't
Oh
know.
man,
How many people are watching this ridiculousness? I
we
don't know.
got a whole facility here. You have no idea.
it's amazing.
Thank
It's
you.
amazing.
All right. Well, on behalf of MiHSEF, we appreciate Esports Ohio showing up for this. We loved getting the opportunity to set up this match. I had a ton of fun doing this. What a great way to cap off, winter time at school. Coming to this after a day of teaching, highlight of my day. Absolutely, really
Absolutely.
appreciate you guys doing this.
Yeah, thank you for
Hey,
coming.
hats off to you guys. Fantastic job. It was a pleasure. Myself, we will work with you guys anytime. And it looks like we both finished up Rocket League seasons too, so we might have to put something on the books.
Ooh,
Oh,
battle for the goals in the borders. I don't know. We'll think of a name. Maybe we'll stick to the same name. Yeah.
yeah, but have a good night, everyone.
Hey, thanks.
All
Very
right.
good.
Well, if that's all we've got, then thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate you watching. Have a lovely evening. Have a safe holiday season, and look forward to the spring season of Overwatch.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's probably the last we're going to see of it. I want to give one last thing to our sponsors, Addicts, Intercom, Joltic, and Dell. Thank you for supporting us, MySEF, and the stream. I hope you guys support them as much as we do. All right, yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Had a wonderful night casting. Definitely some really exciting moments, and I bet these players are looking for a break, as well as I am. Teaching and having to go to school in this and having to do esports at the same time, definitely very tiring. So I hope you will all enjoy your breaks as well as your sleeps.
Take care. Good night, everybody.